Good evening, guys.
Good evening, family. How you guys doing? Summer love in the building on today. We got some treats. We got a surprise.
Do we
We
ever?
got we got something about on tonight. Get
What's good,
ready.
family? So we are
Get your
so excited to
mocktail.
be here tonight. I'm telling you, listen, it's going to be on tonight. You understand? It's going to be on. This is so good. We've been waiting for this. I think when we first said that we were going to do this in the first place, we were trying to find out, hey, Vaughn, we were trying to find out, when we were going to be able to do this. But this was on
Yeah.
our heart to do from the very beginning. So tonight is going to be a lot of fun. Tonight is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to give time for you guys to come and join us. I'm going
Yeah.
to try to share that link out.
Yes, get your mocktails, get some popcorn. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna think, you're gonna be like, oh wow. Wait till y'all see the surprise.
The think, that's the funny part.
I'm shimmering.
She said y'all going to think, hey, Keita, how are you? What's good, sis? What's good? This is going to be fun. Okay, I'm making sure I'm sharing out to my people.
It's
And
on
we're
your
going to go
page.
ahead and put this on our main pages. So welcome you guys. Come on in the chat. Come on in the chat. We're going to do a quick recap and then we're going to jump right in.
Yes.
We're very interactive here, right? So please make sure that you comment and that you talk back to us because we want to hear what's going on.
Yes.
Want to hear what's going on with you in your world.
Drop in the chat. How was your day? How was your day? How did the today go? How did Tuesday go for you today?
Well, I'm going to start. Today was long for no reason at all. None. No reason at all. Just long. This is the longest Tuesday ever. I thought it was Friday twice. So that's how my day went. Okay. That's how my day went. What's good, family? Drop it in the chats. Also, while you dropping in the chats, we always start off the show with dropping in the chats your status. Are you single? Are you ready to mingle?
Ah,
What's going on? What you doing? What you up to? Is there a significant other in your life? What are you waiting for? Did God say wait? We kind of ask, what's your status? What's going on? If you're comfortable to share, of course. Okay. Yes, it is. Nikita says this is fun already. You have no idea. So let's jump in. So tonight is a bonus. Tonight is a bonus. So we've had 3 shows so far. Three. We've had 3 shows so far. So today is a bonus. And unfortunately, next Tuesday is our last summer show. It is our last summer show. Can you believe that the summer has passed already? Right. So tonight is a special bonus and we have special guests with us. Okay. But just a short recap before we bring on our guests. Okay. So when we first started, we began to talk about self-reflection, right? Because we don't definitely jump into any topic or anything without checking ourselves first. We always ask God what's going on with us, making sure that we are up to part and doing inventory on ourselves. So our first show talked about self-reflection.
yeah.
Self-reflection, okay, and all the things that come with that. We were asking pivotal questions like, am I healed enough? Am I sober? Am I choosing? Am I emotionally sound? Do I know my purpose before I connect myself to somebody else? Right? What do I bring to the table?
Mm-hmm.
What do I bring to the table? Right? Does he know his purpose? Does she know her purpose? Right? We were asking ourselves these pivotal questions so that we could prepare. So then in show number 2, right, we kind of went to the dating game, conversations that you have on the date. So we talked about what does our first date look like, which is going to be a lot of fun to hear what the fellas say about that. We talked about what our first date looks like. We talked about what it looks like to be able to I think we talked do we I don't think we talked about kids yet.
No.
I don't think we
We
talked about kids. Okay. So we talked about different conversations. We talked about what is healthy conversation. That was the main part of that. What
yes.
is healthy conversation to have when you are pursuing, right? What's too much, what's not enough, right? Then we talked about flags, right? Our last show, which was the third show, we talked about flags, not just red flags. We always talk about red flags. What about green flags? What about this is a surefire thing, it could be a red flag, that we went out to eat and sis didn't even bother to grab her pocketbook to see if she's going to try to help pay for this dinner. But a green flag could be he opened the door for me.
Yes.
Right. So we haven't talked about green flags. We don't get to talk about that enough. So last show we talked about red and green flags. We talked about texting. Is texting the way that we're going to communicate? How do we communicate when we're in the dating phase? And how do we enter into the dating phase? Are we going to just say we're exclusive? How long before you're exclusive? I remember, somebody in the chat was basically saying, 90 days is too long. Remember, Coach E said 90 days. Somebody said 90
It's the
days is too
max.
long, right?
The max
we
amount
gotta
of
we
time.
already know, way before that. So we talked about all of those things. So tonight we have two of our special friends with us. I'm so excited. I'm very close to both of these men. We thought that it would be only fair to hear what the fellas have to say about kingdom dating. Now, I got to give my disclaimer for this. We're not saying, now word from my sponsor, this is a commercial. We're not saying what we're saying is the end all be all. That is not what we're saying. What we are saying is this is our experiences, our advice, our ways of doing things, and just what we think of the wisdom that God has given us. So we're not saying that you should go and find and marry the milkman. No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that you should go and divorce your neighbor. We're not saying any of that. What we're saying
Not
is
divorce. No
that
divorce.
this is our experiences regarding being a single that happens to be Christian, right?
Yes.
And these two men, I love them. I adore them. I trust them. I get to watch all the fun things that they go through too. So this is really good. So I can't wait to hear how they're going to contribute to the conversation. It's going to be amazing. But I trust the soundness of them.
Yes.
I trust the soundness of them. They're men of God.
Yes.
They're men of God. Okay. If they weren't, we wouldn't do it, but they're men of God. But we wanted you to be able to hear as women, right? What we always talking to, as far as like what the women need to do and everything else from other women.
Right.
But how do the fellas interpret this? Like, how do they take this? What is too much for them? What is overwhelming them? So without further ado, I'm going to invite my friends. They're going to introduce themselves. And we're going to have a good conversation. So we have Justin Goodman and we have Coach Shaq. And that is the Shaq whom you have seen in the comments over the past few shows. Because it definitely was Shaq that said 90 days is too long.
Too long.
Have at it.
Well, I guess I'll go first. So my name is Justin Goodman. And listen, they done got me on a summer love podcast talking about love and romance. Listen, this is not my vein. And all that. Listen, so what I'm doing here. But anyway, I'm glad that the woman of God just gave that disclaimer. Because listen, I preach the gospel. But don't listen, this is a love talk show, so I'm being stretched. So I love that fun. I love to, you guys are like gonna hear my first thoughts. I ain't got time to prepare. I ain't got time to, get myself together. So I'm excited for the conversation tonight because I don't even know all the questions they're gonna ask. So you guys getting it raw. So I'm excited. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I own a home care agency. We help the elders age in place in their home so they don't have to necessarily go to like nursing homes. So I find passion in doing that. And recently I am starting a church. I'm in the process of launching what we call Hope City Church. We are launching September 1st at 11:30. You guys,
that's my birthday, y'all.
Thank you. Yeah, that's worthy of a clap. Y'all, I'm excited about that. God is doing something new in my life in every area. I'm just sitting on this roller coaster with my seatbelt on, saying, God, have your way. And this is a part of that, because what am I doing on a Love Talk podcast show?
Come on here.
Have your way. But I'm excited because I'm single, and that's unique about me. I'm a single senior pastor.
Yeah.
So that's a different, perspective that I bring to the table. And it's real interesting, really unique. And it's new for me as well. So I'm excited to share, my insight and my perspective of romance, love, dating, being a Christian. So that's a little bit of who I am.
And I just want to sidestep, since he shared that part. He is not only one of my best friends, but he is my pastor. He's my pastor. And I'm proud of it, right? He was my best friend for 7
Yes.
years before this journey of the building of the church. So I'm very excited that our church will be open next month. Amen.
Yay.
Coach Shaq.
Woo! Man, hey everybody, I'm Shaq. My name is Shakim, Coach Shaq. You can call me Shaq. I'm a coach, life coach, a podcaster, elder, a minister. Some people may have made a mistake and call me a prophet, all kind of. I'm just a person that loves the Lord. I don't. I love God. And I do my best to live for Him. I have some unique perspectives, and I hope they'll bless you. I hope that they can get you to look from a different perspective about certain things. And I think as believers, I think we have obviously a unique dating experience in the world because we have certain standards and morals and things that we adhere to. And spaces like this are really helpful in helping us navigate some of these things because in my view, sometimes the church doesn't adequately walk through some of these topics as this podcast does in other spaces like this. So I'm excited to I don't know what's going to be asked. I'm going to give you what I
Well, I
think.
have a good question too.
We're real. We're going to and it's going to be an exciting time. And thank you for having me, both of you. And I'm ready to kick this thing off.
Woo, let's go. So I just want to start with saying, you've heard some of the things that we've been talking about and reflecting on. I know Shaq has actually been able to get on a couple of shows. What is your overall perspective just about kingdom dating in general? Do you think that, they've had all these sayings saying the dating pool is horrible, it's terrible. I won't say the things that they say about it, but but this is the body of Christ talking about the dating pool, right? So how do you feel about dating in today now? Do you feel that you're ready? Do you feel that you're healed enough to? Do you feel like you're not? What does dating mean to you at this juncture in your life today?
That's for me.
Either one. It's gonna be both of you for sure.
I'll answer first. Now, for me, I think personally, I'm healed enough to date. Yes. I think that what was the question again? Because now they got
It's kind of like just your perspective, right? So that's good. Like, healed enough to date. You can dig into that and just,
Okay.
explain how do you know that you're healed enough, right? And then what do you think about dating right now in your life at this place that you're in?
Okay, yeah, I think. See, the thing is, nobody is 100% healed and just ready to go to glory, But I do think that after, if you've been in some type of relationship for a period of time and you've done that work, I think that one of the ways that I've noticed that I am healthy enough to date is that the desire for certain things that wasn't there before started to come again, and it had a lot to do with maybe a bad experience or like a particular trauma or something like that, to where you were closed off in an area. And I think one of the key indicators is that after that area was closed off and you start to obviously intentionally do some work, healing, deliverance, counseling, and those type of things, you'll start to see your desires change, and you'll start to open up and have a heart for it more. I think that's one of the things. But as far as the church is I think a lot of the times we model too much after the world, and I think that is one of the mistakes that we do as the church overall, myself included, because to say there's urine or fecal matter in the pool doesn't apply to the believers. That should not apply to the believers. That shouldn't apply to God's children. That shouldn't apply to us. There are some people out there who are not healthy and things of that nature. But if we're talking about people who seek after God, people who love the Lord, people who love each other, that shouldn't apply to us. So if that's the case for believers, it points to a very clear issue that the church is not doing what they're supposed to do to present themselves one before Christ, and then we may not be loving each other the way we're supposed to if the people you're running to that are believers are drenched in urine, for the nicest way I can put it. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. So if this is our experience as the church, that we're running into so many terrible people in the church, then it just points to that people are not may not necessarily be doing what is necessary to present themselves as a living sacrifice.
That's good.
Mm.
What you think, Jess?
Yeah, you gotta remind me of the question again, but what Shaq just said though was so good because I think it affects more than dating. And I
Yeah.
think if we can figure out the root of why, I think I have a suspicion of why when you run into the saints, or when you run into when you get deeper into the church, you start to see some things that are contrary to what we preach and to what we say we should be living by. So when it comes to dating, even when it comes to Christian leadership, or when it comes to whatever, different, you serve on a certain team and you start to get deeper in that thing and you realize like, yo, these people aren't what they say they were. Or
Yeah.
they're not modeling what they say that,
Mhm.
how they should model. And I think when it comes to dating, is a lot of disappointment because what Shaq said, it shouldn't be urine. The saints shouldn't be bathed in urine. But the reality is they are a lot of people are. And I think it comes from not necessarily being rooted and grounded in Christ. Like I think we have a lot of cheap relationships with Jesus, and it makes every other part of us cheap, even dating. And
That's
that's
so
why the
good.
experience in the Christian dating world is cheap to a lot of people, because our a relationship with Christ isn't rich. So
Right.
if we can enrich in our relationship with Christ, every aspect of us should be enriched, including the way we date.
Right.
So I think a lot of that, we got a lot of cheap experiences because we got a lot of cheap Christians.
That's so good.
That's
That's so
good.
good. And what they're talking about when they're saying what they're saying is because there was a big thing going around, especially after COVID, saying that the dating pool had pee in it. That's why they're saying that, which I couldn't bring myself to say, but they shared it. Right? I couldn't bring myself to say that, but that's what they're talking about because it's been so tragic, honestly, to be dating. And I was remembering, when the pandemic happened and everybody was like, oh, well, I can't rely on meeting somebody in person because we're all virtual. And everybody started doing all the Christian dating sites or so-called Christian dating sites. It was like all these people is not even saved. So you have all these Christian groups. Remember, I think me and Shaq was in a Christian group together. I remember one time, but I was like, ain't no Christians in here. It was
I
thousands.
muted those notifications a long time ago.
Right. It was, I think I left. I think I left the
Wow.
joint like a year or two ago. But it was like thousands and thousands of men and women that just were not saved. And they had I would say they marked the box called Christian because that was their religion of choice type
Right.
thing. Like I was raised in church or whatever,
Yeah.
but I only go on Easter Sunday, right? Amen. I was raised in church, but I only go on New Year's.
Right.
And I'm saying that what that represents is that what is your relationship like when you don't gather with the assembly of the brethren? So I think that's very good to consider that, your personal relationship with God may not be anchored and rooted the way it should be. And that'll affect everything. That'll affect your
Right.
perspective,
Mhm.
because we need Jesus to make decisions. So if we don't have Jesus, then how are we choosing? What is
Right.
our filter? What is our lens? That means that's our own understanding that we're trying to process information regarding relationships. That could be a recipe for disaster. And then end up married or end up having children or end up doing something. What I feel like church has done, honestly, whenever there was an open, outright, blunt discussion about true desires of men and women, things went better. When it was honest.
Right.
When it was open
Yeah.
and honest, that said, men and women have desires, that it's okay to like each other. We all became the
Right.
flying nuns and eunuchs. And then when we decided we want to like each other, then we feel wrong. You ever felt, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? When you and
Yeah.
Jesus, you'd be like, I feel guilty for looking. I feel guilty for whatever. I had to be healed just from that. From the fact that, you'll desire or be attracted to or whatever else, and that's why I've enjoyed me and Erica's conversation because we've been open about that. Last week, I think it was last week when we talked about what's the initial thing that you find attractive or what do you consider attractive? Oh, I
Yeah,
think I
but
want to, I
but
think I
but
want to go there.
I want to say something about what you just said because it's called the purity culture. It was a big
Yeah.
thing like in the early 2000s, and it was this big push to the purity ring and not to look on anybody, and you would date for only marriage, and we should date for marriage, but it was no space to get to know. It was like
Right.
you gotta marry this person, you gotta
Ooh,
before you
that's
consider
good.
talking to them, they gotta meet all these check all these boxes for marriage before you even get to know the person. So
Yeah,
that
what the
purity culture, I think we're deconstructing it now, but now we're navigating through, like, it's like we've been sheltered for a long time, but now
Yeah.
we out the house, and now we gotta, we gotta navigate, and we got to sanctify this process of us trying to figure out how to healthily date, healthily find our spouses, apart from purity culture, but also still living sanctified, still living Christ honoring.
my
So
Lord.
we're in that space now.
I will want to jump in there and say that there's also a thing where as information is becoming widely accessible, right? Because you're talking about 50, 100 years ago, you didn't know anything else, right? You knew what your mama told you, and that was it, right? So if they say marry John across the street, and this is how marriage is supposed to go,
Yeah.
you did what you were told, right? You did what your family told you to do. But now we're in an age where we can access other people's experiences of marriage outside of our family. I mean,
Yes.
even outside of our state, outside of our country, then there's another different responsibility to kind of say, okay, what does marriage really look like, right? Because not every marriage modeled in our families is godly or the right marriage, right? Some of our, back in the day, grandmothers, aunts, and uncles have stayed in relationships that they probably should have left years ago. So it's just that to say purity, looking straight with not the attributes of and the dispensation of what is going on in the realm of the spirit towards our destiny and purpose, it would be a real misconception for us to not have an in-depth saying, okay, who is my spouse, right? Who is
Right.
the person I'm spending my life with? Because it's going to definitely impact my destiny and my purpose. Is one is not without the other,
Right.
So
Good.
we got to go deeper.
Touch on the purity part before you ask what's attractive.
I just want to say I had my train to abstain certificate as a teenager. Thank you very much. My church definitely did train to abstain. I didn't get my ring, but I got my certificate, and I think it was a necklace or something like that. But I did get I passed. I got 100. I got my train to abstain certificate.
Oh
Go ahead.
man.
So I think the purity, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the purity thing focused, like this whole purity movement and don't look or else you're wrong. I think it focused on more of an outward restriction as opposed to like an inner heart change,
Right.
Yeah.
more so like we're going to put all these parameters around you to restrict you and
Control.
try to control and to allow you to be disciplined in your flesh only, which is
Yeah.
a difficult thing to do. You
It's impossible.
you try but in your flesh alone, it's just, you're not gonna make it very far.
Yeah.
If you don't have, the conviction of the Holy Ghost, if you don't have, your heart being pricked and things like that. So I think you
Get the
know,
devil cast out. Go ahead.
yeah, that, but it didn't really focus on the inner work, the inner healing, the
That's
deliverance
exactly what it is, right?
helps you really live from inside out. It's like you're trying to put a muzzle on something that is going to break loose from that muzzle eventually. So I think that that's the error. I think that you have to work from the inside out, and then you can live from the work that you put on the inside.
I want to hit that purity thing before you guys answer that. Now, I want you guys to begin to think about, what do you find attractive, about the women? The ladies want to know, what do you guys find attractive? What do you guys kind of think is, great things? And what are things that you feel like you guys want to just stay away from? But when it goes to purity, I remember I had experienced so many bad experiences regarding sexuality that just like bad things happen, like molestation and rape and all those things, and different forms of abuse. I had a very bad perspective on sex. So even the thought of sex was something that was very I just felt guilt and shame from it, or even thinking about it. But what about the healthiness of just desiring, your significant other or your spouse? And I try to pursue healing from that in various aspects. I have been now, but I was in college years ago, and Liberty University, is a Christian college if you don't know, but they had a course on healthy sexuality. And I took the course in hopes for God to give me another perspective on sex. And that God, that because we saw that it was so taboo. right? And we saw there's something so terrible, but that it's actually a gift from God that he desires to be able to bless us with within the protection of the covenant of marriage. And I understood even better why God began to heal me through that course of hearing his heart and his perspective on the union of his sons and his daughters within that protection. Why covenant is so important, I understood better. Why it was so important for us to not be fornicating, not out there, tasting and seeing everything else. We're supposed to taste and see that the Lord is good. We tasting everything else but that. You know what I'm saying? Why that's a problem. Why we emotionally tying ourselves to people that's not a part of our destiny and our future. And then it causes a delay for us to see who we're actually supposed to be attached to. Then we got to deal with soul ties or taking on demonic personalities and all this other stuff because you are like the person that you just engaged into that with. And then dealing with all the heartbreak, right? We got emotionally tied. You don't even have to have sex to be emotionally tied anymore. But creating all these soul ties with all this intimacy and feeling guilty about the feelings of companionship, guilty about the feelings of desiring somebody else, but God gave you those desires. I'm a big proponent of those healthy desires come from God within balance. But if you're dealing with a lust issue, then you need to deal with that and stop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's not play games. Because when I hear people that have been walking with God for a very long time talk about lust like it was just a part of their day, or talk about phone or doing those intimate things like it was just a part of their day, I am questioning too many things right now. Right? Because lust, God had to deal with how do we walk in abstinence if he doesn't deal with lust?
You can't.
That's a spirit. I don't understand how you can. I don't get it. God delivered me from that. And it wasn't an overnight thing. And it wasn't just one cast out. He delivered me from that thing till I did not desire or have unhealthy, irrational desires that were perverted for people that I was not in union or covenant with. Right. Just saying. So while we're talking about purity and the keeping of us, that I feel like it's important to be talked about, because I see a lot of people, just like Shaq said, external restrictions, trying to hold themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say desires don't come, but like we talked about last time, don't set yourself up for failure. I'm a big, don't say, you ended up, you slipped, your clothes fell off. And how? Right. You went to her house, right? You went to his house.
Drove over there.
You took a bath and everything. And you put your good dress on, so stop playing with me. You didn't. You made a decision.
Yeah.
You made a series of decisions.
Series.
It's getting to the point where we have to. The Lord was dropping this in my spirit for like a couple of days now. We have to have spiritual responsibilities, right? That we don't break what we have worked so hard to do, right? Fornication and all of these things that will lead us down the road of destruction eventually, if we don't stop. So that spiritual responsibility, like, why would you keep yourself for X amount of years and then Mr. Joe or Miss Sue comes and you forget all that you've been tarrying for and just toss it out the window, right? Like, that purity means something, and the enemy is definitely after the purity, because even in the dreams he tried to come and sleep with people or invoke some thoughts in your dream life where it's like, I want to snatch your purity. It's so many times I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, God, cover my purity, because I put in the work to restrain and change my heart and change my thinking, renew my mind about relationships, about sex, about what it would look like, but what it looks like kingdom in a kingdom sense. But at the same time, let's be spiritually responsible, that if you like this person and you feeling hot because we in church and you prophesying, you praying down the thing, that does not negate the feelings that you're going to have, right? It doesn't negate when he touches your small of your back or grab your arm or you get close. You're going to feel those feelings, right? So it's one thing for you to be abstinent when no one is in the room. That's easy.
That's very true.
But it's not easy when Mr. Mike is there and he looking good.
My God.
Come on. And Lisa's on the corner and she looking good too.
Lisa.
And
Lisa
blood is rushing through your mind and every other part of your body. How do you become spiritually responsible? Right? Because we have to work out our salvation with fear. Fear, the Bible says, fear and trembling. right? So we have to be spiritually responsible, and
Woo.
we have to protect our purity. That means making decisions. No, he's not coming over to my house to watch no movie.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going out to breakfast, and breakfast is right next to it. Like, set yourself up to win.
Yes.
Set yourself up to win. They'll be like, oh, you kind of like, oh, it's right by his house. Maybe we'll go. We all, the thoughts.
Right. Right.
You know
That's
the
so
thoughts.
good.
Yeah,
So
So I want to add to that. But Erica, Lisa on the corner though, she's talking
that's
about she want $40.
no,
I'm concerned.
I'm on the
I'm
corner
concerned
of the
about.
couch.
I'm concerned about Lisa on the corner. Well, Lisa on the corner want $40. She full of lust.
Lisa on the corner, like, hey.
Oh man, that's too funny. But what you were saying, Erica, is so good because it made me think about you have to we dealing with lust, dealing with not I don't want to say lust because you dealing with hormones, dealing with natural neurological the body. You know how God made us. We have to learn how to put our affection somewhere. So we have to really learn how to delight ourselves in the Lord. And we have to do it when we're sober, because when we're in those hot and heated moments, when Mike and Lisa on the corner, when we in those hot and when we in those moments, it's only that anchor that you was intentional about setting when you were sober that's gonna be able to help you,
Ooh,
hold you, pull you back to a place of sobriety.
my
Because when
God,
you
that's
deal
good.
with when you're in those hot moments, when you're in those tempting moments, if you have no anchor that you had not been previously working on, delighting yourself in the Lord,
Come
it's
on,
no hope for you.
mm,
Because
my
them
God.
legs, them lips, them hands, it ain't no hope for you. So
Don't be
when you're
drunk in love.
sober, when you're drunk in drunk in lust, actually,
right.
when you're drunk in lust, you have to make sure. So when you're sober, you have to constantly delight yourself in the Lord. And what a lot of people they're failing at, they are delighting themselves in R&B music, and
Woo!
I sound real old school now. In that rap
Come on.
music, they
Woo!
are delighting yourself. You're allowing your heart to be so filled up with
That
things that's working against
tap
you,
on that. You
and
gotta
it's
go
Mm.
there, because that
yeah.
that R&B music is something.
That
I got
R
a whole playlist for my wedding night
I love
because
Fighting
I can't listen
Temptations.
to it before.
Fighting Temptations is one of my favorite movies. And the lady on Fighting Temptations, don't Kiyanni, don't do that. The lady on Fighting Temptations, y'all remember when the boy was,
No,
they were young, and she got put out the church. And she was like, because she's singing that R&B sex music at the club. But that R&B sex music is what gonna trap a lot of the saints up, because we're ignorant of Satan's devices. And
Mm,
you may call it deep, you may call it doing too much. I love R&B, I love music, I enjoy all types of music, but there's some music that I have to be intentional. I can't listen to, because if I'm in a moment of passion, it's not gonna work in my favor. So I have to delight myself in the Lord when I'm sober, because it's only in that reservoir that I can pour from that's going to keep me from going over the edge.
Ooh,
mm.
same thing got the reservoir.
Can I say something? It was based on well, it actually goes with what E said and what Justin said about the devil's devices. We're not ignorant against his devices.
yeah,
Things E said was like, just because the man is praying and prophesying or whatever, and it's like I want to take a moment to talk to the people who minister the gospel, because whatever it is you feeling before and after you come off the anointing, it's like supercharged. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, so
It is.
now
Mhm.
we might get a little real today, but it's like one of those things where we have to walk circumspectly. Like, we have to be very careful and walk wise, because whatever it is, your hormones and desires, urges, and things, whatever those are, after you minister, it just really seems like those things go to 1,000. So it's just like, I think we need to be aware that after we minister, to have things in place and people in place that we trust, that can hold us accountable, and other than, also along with being rooted in God, and being aware of filling our heart with certain things that are not conducive to walking circumspectly.
absolutely.
But you like for instance, if you're a traveling preacher, it don't make no sense for you to be out there by yourself somewhere. You know what I'm saying? After you come down somewhere and
Yeah.
then you got just women around coming to your room and things like
Yeah.
that.
Don't do that.
It's a setup for disaster. So I just think,
Yeah.
you know, it's really being honest with the human side of yourself, knowing that, you know, in my flesh I'm not strong enough to fight this urge. So there does have to be natural parameters in place, just as a wise person. So I just wanted to touch on that for 2 seconds.
That was good.
Yeah. You guys hit the attraction part.
Okay, what are we asking?
We're talking about what, you know, for as a kingdom man, what are the attractors, right? Because sometimes we think about, you know, just like you said, I think that was a good segue, talking about just the natural things to put in place, right? Naturally and organically, what do you find attractive? Now, because we're kingdom, we do make different decisions and choices, right? How we filter and how we vet through. So what does that look like from a kingdom male perspective of how to filter and how to vet through, you know, is this a woman that I could possibly see, you know, future with? What does that look like for you guys?
Can I get some clarity when you say attractive? I need some clarity on that now, because we can filter and everything, but a man is a man. You know, are we saying attracted? And we are attracted to different things. You know, so that's going to be a personal question, I think. But
no, I think what you just said we needed to hear.
Yeah.
Right.
Say,
You just,
okay.
Oh, you want me to go or you got it, Justin?
I like shock value, but I'm pastor now, so I can't say what first came to my mind, because I'm navigating this space. But I love to cut up and I love to have fun. So what I was gonna say, but go ahead, Shaq.
You free here.
No, we're men. We like curves. Look at Eric. Attractive women. You know, we like perfumes. You know what I'm saying? I like women who perfume. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, hold on. Because I cannot hear. I can't. Shaq is giving a list. Hold on now. Hold on. Shaq is giving
what
a
kind
list.
Look, Shaq, what kind of perfumes? Body splash.
Hold on. They got a notebook. Hold on. Shaq got a list. Wait, hold on. Perfume. Go ahead. What else?
Oh man.
I said first. I said curves. I mean, everybody likes, you know, everybody
curves.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So
that's like, right.
Who we find pretty, right? But I personally like a woman who knows how to dress.
Well, we know because y'all don't know. Shaq is
No, we're gonna talk about this though.
America's top model.
Let him give his list. Go. I'm taking notes. Go ahead.
But not the I don't, you know, I don't like, not like body spray, not like that would be like a man wearing Axe body spray. Don't do that, bro. Let me throw that one out there. Invest in you some good cologne. You know what I'm saying? Invest in you some good cologne. You know what I'm saying? But everybody finds other things. Now that's just the physical attraction, right? Now that's just the initial, right? So outside of that, you know, I like a woman who is intellectual but not necessarily boastful with it, you know, because you got some people who are highly intelligent, but you could tell they speak in a condescending way. But there are a lot of different things. Of course, the spiritual side of things, like if she could pray and all of that, all of those things are wonderful, right? But I like a person who actually knows how to hold the conversation other than church, other than ministry, other than
yes.
And we're spiritual people, but if we were to get married, right, I think ministry and church, that's only a certain percentage of our lives. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which that's absolutely important, our kingdom purpose and things like that. But I like a woman who understands when and where to have what conversations. And that's a big one for me, as opposed to just somebody who just blurts off. Like I was talking to somebody and they just blurted off their whole life story and jumped from topic to topic to topic, and it's just too much. You know what I'm saying?
Too much.
Knowing when much to say and when and where to say it.
We were talking about that last week.
That's good.
But wait, before we go, hold that thought. Justin, what are your internal things that you are attracted to?
Internal.
Yeah.
Okay, I like somebody who has a sense of humor. I like to have fun, and I believe the Bible says that laughter is like good medicine. to the soul. And listen, it's going to be us being able to have fun to help us navigate through hard seasons. Life is going to be full of hard seasons. And, you know, I got to have somebody who we can cut up. We can have fun. You know, we can find
Yes.
something to laugh about. So that's a biggie for me. Somebody like Shaq said, who can hold themselves in conversation. Like one of my worst fears is like marrying somebody, and Kiyanni, I already know what I'm about to say. I'm at a social event and I got a pulled rank. I gotta take the whole conversation on my shoulders. Like, babe, can you like jump in here? Like, can you like help me out? Can you like talk? Don't just shrink back. So somebody who can, you know, be can talk and be social. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Social in different settings. And somebody obviously you gotta love the Lord more than you love me.
Yeah, wow.
But someone who is mature in Christ. Like, so you got I want like somebody who even so with my situation, I'm a senior pastor, so you have to like be able to navigate emotional the emotional character of a lot of different people and a lot of different settings. So somebody who's mature and won't take a lot of things personal. And if they're very sensitive, like they've been processed enough to know how to navigate themselves in situations. Kiyanni, what you about to say? You want to say something?
I want him to do the external too. I'm taking notes.
Big booty. I'm just joking.
Really?
But listen, I had to say it. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm just joking, y'all. I love that. But listen, I don't know who watching this. You know, I'm a new pastor. I got to
leave him alone.
Brand new pastor. I ain't got no members. Ain't nobody gonna come to my church. But I do like to have fun. Listen, I'm just joking, y'all.
So it's safe to say curves.
Curves. I like curves.
The man of God, Elder Shaq, said curves.
Big eyes.
Okay.
I think that's enough.
I think curves explain a lot.
Said pastors doing too much talking.
Yeah, let me keep pastor from crashing out.
Right. It's enough. I'm getting uncomfortable. Kiyanni,
let me say
leave
this.
him alone.
Kiyanni is loving it. But y'all know my personality. I love to have fun. But yes, I let me track back. Let me be serious. Look at Bobby. Lord Bobby's in the comments.
Lord Jesus. I seen him. I just seen him.
But yeah, externally, I'm really, and Kiyanni knows this. Kiyanni, honestly, I don't necessarily have a type.
Right.
Because I kind of be shocked, you know, with some people that I'm interested in, but I don't have a type. Like, I like pretty. I like you to be beautiful, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I don't necessarily have a type. Bobby, I gotta get Bobby. He just, I feel his energy. I can't see what he's saying. But
one of our brothers is in there.
Bobby,
is in the chat.
But yeah, I didn't dug a hole, Erica. You should have stopped me when I got started, Erica.
I was trying to help you.
I'm holding you responsible. Now I'm sober and I just realized what I said. So now
it was funny. It was a joke. And that Jeremy on here was like, yes, Pastor. Jeremy, you get to the altar when you come up here.
But yeah, I really don't have a type. Like, I love a beautiful woman, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So a lot of qualities I like is internal.
Right.
So yeah, so listen. This ain't a dating show, but yeah, I feel like I'm out here, you know, on speed dating. I feel like I'm out here.
No, really it's not speed dating, but it's good. It's good. So I want you to go ahead and follow up what you was gonna say.
I do. I have two questions.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think which one I should ask. Should I ask the one about the too much conversation or my other one?
I think too much conversation is good. I think that's a good one.
All right.
Because that has to do with a lot of the internal factors. For the most part, internally, they kind of really said the same thing, give or take, the sense of humor and intellectual conversation, but that's important to both of them.
Yes.
You know, that's important to both of them. So I think that'd be good for the
what
conversation.
It's one
I thought of something else while the pastor was talking.
Oh, yeah. Y'all gonna take me out. Because I thought it was gonna be you, Shaq, and Justin is like got me in the spirit right now.
Shaq is really behaving. This is great.
Shaq.
So far as
Don't
that.
be winding him up.
Kiyanni is loving it. I'm Erica. I'm in. I'm done. I'm done. I'm back.
The outward appearance, I like a groomed woman who keeps her upkeep up. You know what I'm saying? Like her nails and stuff. Like I don't really like all the eagle talons and all of that stuff. But like you know what I'm saying? Just groomed and keep her appearance together. But this was the one I wanted to talk about, and this is more in. I guess it has to do with internal, but I don't like a chaotic or unorganized woman. I do not like that. That irks me so bad. If just
What does that really look like, right? Because I could think somebody's chaotic and you'd be like, nah, she cool. What
Right.
does like give us more meat
more
on
like
that? Ladies, take note.
it's more like a spirit of confusion is attached to that, where it's just like they're just unorganized, they're frantic, they do everything last minute, they not prepared for nothing. They
Wow.
order, you know. Now everybody gets busy, and you might have a season where things are a little hectic, and you might have to recalibrate. But like, if you just live really unorganized, I don't. That's a major. That's basically a deal breaker for me. If you're just all over the place all the time, I'm just like, ooh,
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll add, I can't do drama
oh
because
no,
some of the mature saints are dramified.
oh.
Correct.
So I need somebody who is mature in their emotions, and I said that earlier, but
Yeah.
definitely, you know, but it goes in line with, you know, the chaos and the chaoticness. Like I don't want to come into a chaotic space because I'm a man of peace. Like I like to make peace. You know, I like calmness, and I don't want. I see one of my biggest fears too. I got a lot of listen, y'all pray. I don't want my wife over here cutting up and people looking at me crazy
And
because my wife and we're married. So, you know, either I'm gonna have peace in the situation and my house gonna be crazy, or I'm gonna have peace at home and I'm messing up not me necessarily messing up relationships, but my wife is messing up relationships. So I need a wife that's mature and know how to deal with people. Because I know how to deal with people.
if she don't, I watch, like, if she has kids, I watch how she maintains the children too. That's big. Are the kids, do they listen? You know, are they rambunctious? What does their parents look like? You know what I'm saying? Those are things that I look at too, because kids for me is not a deal breaker, but I really watch how you handle the children. If they're all over the place all the time and they don't have no type of structure or order, it seems that I'm gonna have to come into like a tug of war, and I don't want to. So I wanted to put that out there.
Cool.
And let me add this from we just throwing things out. I wouldn't mind a woman that's, you know, I want to adopt and I want to foster. I want to adopt and I would consider fostering. I would hope that my wife would be open to that. So kids aren't a deal breaker to me either. I'm 30. I turned 32 in September. So, you know, get on up there. You know, kids not a deal breaker.
Oh shit.
but yeah, so yeah.
So Shaq touched up on this a little bit when he talked about while dating, even just on the phone calls, right? We were talking about healthy and acceptable conversations for the pace of time. One thing that Shaq said, he hates when women are just on the phone rambling their whole life. Like, what are some, like, when can you share? Like, when would you want to hear more history and when would you not?
I think I want to. I mean, if we haven't first met or went on a date yet, like especially if you live, so I don't think I should know every detail. But I am going to ask certain things like about the children. If you got kids, you know, what was your, I don't really necessarily ask like directly a lot of things. Sometimes they come up in conversation, but it's hard to put a time frame on it. But I don't think I should know. Like one person was telling me that they were like in an abusive relationship, and I'm like, oh, that's too early. You know, you don't know. You don't, and this is for the women that may be listening tonight, for y'all's protection, because you don't know if I'm a wolf yet.
Right.
You should be saying,
Yes.
you
Speak on
shouldn't stand those kind of deep trauma things. That look, the shark can smell blood in the water. So if
Yes.
you haven't seen that this man is somebody who's trustworthy, you haven't vetted his character, given it time to see if he's a man with integrity and things like that, you shouldn't be sharing things that could potentially be either weaponized or used against you. So
Yeah.
for me, it's a problem. I don't. There's certain conversations that I think will come up somewhat early, but things that are like heavy and really, potentially still a sore spot, or could be potentially manipulated against you or used to weaponize in some sort of way. I don't think those things should be talked about up front until there's some type of commitment there. And because I think at the point of some type of commitment, you've seen that this man is worthy of being taking it further than just talking or dating. So if you share too many heavy things, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, I need to step back, because for one, you don't know if I'm a wolf yet, and then the other thing is, for me, it seems that she doesn't operate in wisdom or heavy discretion. If you
Woo!
out there up front, and that's something that
Mm.
so I'm looking at that, because
That's a good thing.
who's to say that we won't get close, and you would share something that's personal to me if you're sharing your own personal things. Now I
My
don't
God.
share deep and heavy things that are like trauma points and all of that. Some things, it depends on what it is. But I think if you share your own things too quick, you're not going to be able to hold mine. And that's the issue.
Mm,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
good.
That is
Is
really
that
good.
before I go to Pastor Jess, is that a recipe for someone to be ghosted?
What would I ghost them if they?
Yeah, would you?
I would like wean ghost them, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know I don't know. It probably will, but
No, I'm
Let-
just the reason why I'm saying this because so many people get ghosted and they don't know why. But sometimes the conversations are so heavy they don't even know what to do with you.
you're overwhelmed.
stop.
Yes, that's a good yeah.
It could be. It could be very well. I mean, have I done it before? I don't want to incriminate myself, but yeah,
Mhm.
Like,
it could
your eyebrows look like you did it before.
it could be. It might be. It might just be. You kind of tell them, hey, just things conveniently get super busy when people do that. So hey,
Conveniently.
but yeah, so it possibly could be.
Cass,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I agree. I agree. I think you just got to be able to read the room on a first date. You should not be saying a bunch of stuff that is for your best friend. That's not your best friend yet. Like Shaq
My God.
said, yeah, so you got to just be able to read the room, because sometimes conversation go down certain roads, but you still have to be conservative because
Yeah.
y'all still getting to know each other. So I don't care how comfortable you feel with this person, because that can be a trick. You feel comfortable, and you just open up, but you have to be conservative. And again, you got to go in with that mindset, because a lot of people they go into certain situations and they have no expectations. They have no like pre-planned expectation of how things should go. So I think on a first date, especially if you find yourself being one that share a lot, you should make sure you talk to yourself and say, hey, I know I like to share. I know I like to take things further, because you got to know yourself. You have to know yourself, and you just got to put some parameters in place so you won't be ghosted, because a lot of times you overshare, and people they end up like, what did I do? Then they want to play victim and they want to be sad, and I understand that, but you have to learn yourself. Dating is not only about learning the person, but also there's a lot of things that you can learn about yourself from the dating experiences. So I would just say
Right.
be mindful to read the room.
And then my other question.
Mhm.
If a woman cause all right, if a woman is interested, so I'm asking for somebody online because I know they want to know. Is interested in you, but how can they get your attention without being thirsty? What would be some ways that you would want a woman to like indirectly approach you to let you know that she is also interested, but she doesn't want to do the cat call.
Oh, can I add to that?
Yes.
What E just said, and let the second part of that, don't lose what she said, but let the second part of that be, what do you think is appropriate for a woman to present herself to be found?
Mm.
What is appropriate for a woman to present herself to be found?
Just so while y'all thinking, because I see y'all eyebrows thinking. Um, I'm talking about like Boaz and Ruth, right? She came in the night and she laid by his feet. She didn't directly go to him, and he kind of knew what was up, you know. But like in that sense, like how does a woman present herself to be found when she sees something she likes without, being aggressive? Because sometimes that turns men off.
Right.
One of the easiest ways for a woman to like kind of approach without approaching, right, is to like, if you see somebody you like, I don't know, maybe y'all are in a space, some similar space frequently, or even maybe in passing or something like that. If you give the man a compliment, you know what I'm saying, I think that's a conversation starter. And then
Okay.
thirsty, like you're not gonna be like, yo, let me get that number. You ain't gonna do you ain't gonna do that, but you can be like, oh my God, your suit looks nice, or and definitely if you say, oh wow, that cologne smells good, what is that? Just start a conversation, and then kind of like, be gentle and hope he's not oblivious enough to miss what you're doing right there. But I think that is a subtle to sometimes we be oblivious. So let me
That's what I'm about to say.
I might need a little bit more than that, if I'm gonna be honest.
What you mean? What you mean?
They be like Bath and Body.
Hello. Somebody put in the comments that he said no Bath and Body Works. He wants authentic perfume.
Oh man.
Body Works is cool. It just, I mean, it's all right for certain things, you know what I'm saying? But remember, y'all used to get that cucumber melon all day. I ran that in the car.
Thank you. This is the Shaq I know.
Woo.
Pastor Just, what do you say? Like, what would be a subtle way for?
I think now I do agree with Shaq. A compliment, maybe a little stronger compliment though. To
like,
if you call me cute or something like that, that's strong. That's strong. Like
direct, like, I think that's too much for me.
That's too much. You
like, boy, you fine.
You are so handsome.
I think that opens the door for the oblivious.
That's too much.
That does open the door for the oblivious now.
That's kicking.
It does do that. All I want to know is you get the compliment. Okay, so Shaq is fly dressed. I really like your outfit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then for Justin, be like, oh, you growing your hair? I love dreads, right? And then do all that. What's the segue to I think that she's kind of interested. She's paying me attention. Now what? You gonna let her leave? You gonna say, can I have your number? Can we continue the conversation? What are you gonna do?
That's hard for me, because I mean, a compliment, those subtle whatever compliments that y'all say, I'm gonna be oblivious. I'm gonna be honest. Unless I am attracted, unless I want, if I'm attracted to you, I'm like, oh snap, this is an open door. Like, this is somebody I can pursue, because I do know. But if it's just somebody who I'm not attracted to, right, it won't even register.
Right.
Appear, all things appear.
That's so true. That's so
and then he gonna be like, yo, shorty over there said I was fine. Don't do it.
That's true. Yeah.
I'll be like, I like your bed. Yeah. Don't give him too much.
Oh.
Come on, I'm looking at you. I mean, I like the attention. I do. I like the attention. But I'm gonna look at you sideways, because I'm like, there's people that look better than me. So if you see anybody that you think is fine, you're gonna move the same way. That's how I would look at it. So I think running up to him, he's fine, that's a little too much.
But this is my concern though. Like, a compliment. Now I'm looking at my stance. If I compliment somebody, if I'm just, not even being funny, but look at you. Like, if I just see somebody, look at you, who you trying to impress? Or if I say, at you, like just a regular. I was about to say,
Right.
look at you in that
I
dress.
think that's so
Yeah.
general. Yeah, I don't think
And
that
I
I
don't
will
a
register.
compliment. That's
Yeah,
you have to kind of be flirty with it, but not crazy.
so
Like
it's the way you say it. It's not what you say. It's how
yeah,
you say it. Okay.
I
Let
mean,
me.
because
Let's,
men tell you look good all the time, but I'm not gonna think that they want to date me unless they be like,
you
like, yeah,
cute.
you look
You
cute.
know.
Like, thank you. Do 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 do. I don't think that's gonna work for me. So I
And that's
don't
what
know
I'm
if that would
saying.
work for
Like
you.
that's what I'm saying. And
But
now
I
I don't
think
want to be
the
guilty
cologne.
of complimenting somebody, and they think I want to date them. I think that compliment is a little too.
No, that's
look,
fair. That's fair. But I think it's
certain look.
so for
Right.
us, it's gonna be a little different. That's why she was asking for y'all.
Okay.
How does the woman, how do we present ourselves without seeming thirsty to say that
Mhm.
we're interested, so we don't let a moment pass by, especially like we're at network. All of us do business up here, right? We
Right.
all do business. We're always in spaces where we're having to be social. We can meet somebody one time and don't see them again. We can be in an event. We can be, a different thing. So how does she catch your attention? Is there such thing as her being too forward? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What if she asks you for your number? Is that too forward?
Yeah.
Y'all seen that episode of Living Single when Max was trying to hit on the guy at the bar,
Yes.
and all my brothers on here, Dre Mason.
This is
So
a
when Max was trying to hit on the guy at the bar, and Kyle challenged her like, "You can't get nobody's number, you can't get nobody's number up here, right?" And she was like, "I can get any number I want." So she went to the guy. She was like, "Hey, the name's Max." She came to him all strong. "Hey, the name's Max. When are you giving your phone number? And I'll call you sometime." I mean, like a straight dude. And he was like, "No, thank
No,
you."
thank you.
And she was like, "What?" So then she did what women do.
Mhm.
The next time next time she came, she had on a little skinny, skimpy yellow dress and her dark skin with a little dress that she couldn't even sit down. Then she was standing up. She couldn't even sit down. And he was like, "Man," he looked at her up and down. And then he came to take their orders. He says, "May I take your order?" She goes, "I like a cheeseburger and your phone number." That's what she said. "And your phone number." And he was like, "Not a chance." I mean, he was big on that. So what she did to catch his attention, she came one night. Khadijah and them is like, "Girl, stop embarrassing yourself and embarrassing us. Let
Yes.
it go. The man don't want you." She went on the stage in that little den, hangout place, restaurant they used to be, took a guitar and sung all by myself. But it was hilarious because she can't sing. Then he was like, "You know what? That's pretty funny." And she was like, "If I give you my number, you think you'll call me sometime?" He was like, "You know what? I'm going to call you." She was like, "Good. Whew. Now blow it out your tail end because I don't take desperate men." And she left him. All she wanted was to be able to see if she could get him.
Right.
She didn't it was just a challenge for her. "Why aren't you paying me attention?" But when she asked him, "What's the problem?" She was like, "I'm a lawyer. Do the right thing." She said, "I look like this. Do the right thing." He was like, "You're a little too aggressive for me.
My God.
You're a little too much for me." And I know a lot of men feel like that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is it when you say, like, "I like a woman that speak her mind," right? But then what is too much? Like, if you're saying that somebody coming to ask you for your phone number is too much, then we left already. We left the park. But a woman asking you for your number is too much.
Yes.
My God, Shaq.
I don't. Yeah, it is because I mean, if I didn't go to you, then I probably didn't want it. Yeah.
My God. All right. So, is it safe to say, this is good though? Is it safe to say if there is women around and you have not pursued, that just definitely means you're just not interested?
Not always.
Okay, but you get where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because that means because you said technically you could be oblivious. You could be kind of somewhere else.
Right.
Women, we ain't. We're not. It is true of us as a species. I'm just telling the truth. It is us that will plan our whole wedding, baby shower, and bar mitzvah in our mind just because you gave us that compliment. And then we would have to go talk to our good friends. Hey, girl, Erica, guess what? Oh my God, I was at the store. You know what he said? Girl, he was like, that's a nice jean dress. I was like, stop. Stop it. Oh my God. Thank you.
Oh snap, you ain't
And we
lying.
found out, where you from, where they from. We found all that. Well, she gonna be like, girl, did you get the number? He didn't ask me. We had this great conversation. So I thought. So what happened? Girl, he went and got in his car and I went and got in mine. Because he was in the mall parking lot. I don't know if I'll ever see him again.
It's a wrap.
So then be like, you know what though? But he had really cute eyes. We would have a nice little cute chocolate baby. They would have brown eyes just like him. Oh my gosh, it is true. We do that. I ain't saying, forgive me, sisters. We'll do it all the time. We sober. We got Jesus now. And I'm sorry. I gotta attest it to the fact that I'm saved. Because when I wasn't, I didn't have no good sense. You hear what I'm saying? And I was the aggressive one. I'm still naturally aggressive. I'm naturally extroverted. But it was me that was kind of like Max. That's why they call me Max from Living Singles. It definitely was me like that. I remember I saw this dude on the train. He didn't know what to do. And I definitely ran up on him, right? I ran up on him. And he was in shock. He could not stop laughing. And he was like, I can't believe you just said that to me. So he seemed like he was the guy that probably is a ladies' man.
Mm-hmm.
And I just switched it up on him. I just messed up his whole flow. So he didn't even get an opportunity to do anything. And he was like, he's like, I can't believe you right now. He's like, I can't believe you. But I used to be that. I used to deal with men that were 18 times more aggressive than me. So it didn't faze them. It was regular, the type of goons that, I dated when I wasn't with Jesus. But saying that to say that, what is too much? And if they are aggressive and they do come to you, what is your thought of them? Like, how do you turn them down? How you say no, thank you? Or do you take the number and lie? How you turn them down?
Right? You giving them all their secrets out, child.
I don't know. Sometimes I be a little blunt, and it comes off a little. I mean, if I don't know, if I feel I'm being like beasted, then like I might be like, yo, like.
I'm sorry, I gotta.
Who is Jeremy? Because he just disrespected your whole life.
Just disrespected me and Erica. I know herself. She can't for you from the Bronx.
Erica, you from the Bronx?
Yes.
No.
Where you thought I was from?
I don't know what I was thinking. I knew it was from New York, but I
it's my family. What you
right?
What you mean? Jeremy
Jeremy
was
just
my
came
family. He was my family.
Listen, no, he didn't.
Yes, he did. We got New Yorkers in the building anyway, so it's all good. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For me, I think ghosting is appropriate. If you don't, because the thing is, this same thing would happen to a man. If a man pursued a woman,
Sorry, Justin. Carry on.
If the shoe was on the other foot and the man, pursued a woman and she never responded or never showed any interest, that's just the cost to being that aggressor. Yeah. But I mean, it depends on, I guess what you mean by ghosting. Like if she asks for a number and you never give her the number, or you never, I don't know. I'm gonna just stop talking. Because
here's the thing, right? The truth is that I'm gonna say, Nikita said, "What would you do?"
I'm just gonna shut up because this ain't. I told y'all.
Nikita, it's this lesson.
What would you do?
Jesus would have called a dog. Like,
not a dog.
That's what Jesus would have did.
Well, I mean, listen, let's be safe, right? Because there are some men and women have approached them and they are in relationships, right? Because the woman made that first contact. Now, I don't know how aggressive in nature she was, right? One of the things that we did talk about was like, if you don't want to go out and, ask for his number, we'll exchange social
Yeah.
media handles, right?
That's
Right.
good.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, can I follow you on Facebook or
Right.
Instagram? And then try to give him an opportunity to pursue you on there if he was like hesitant and, in the
Right.
surroundings of where we were. Or maybe it'll give you an opportunity to kind of continue the conversation if
Right.
need be, right? So I never, I'm the one that I probably send my friend, my homeboy. I'm that person, right? Because I'm not doing it.
They ain't gonna do it right.
Well, listen, it ain't gonna be done.
Like,
I mean, and I had instances where the person was vouching for themselves, but
Now
we ain't
listen,
gonna go there.
we only got just for another 10 minutes, E. So and then he has to go. But so we want to make sure that he get a chance to answer some things. What are some things that are kind of like we kind of already went there, like red flags or green flags? What is a green flag, a red flag? If you ever kind of thought about that, what are non-negotiables? For you can pick one of those. Or what's some commonality things? They'd be like, we got to have this in common. And you kind of said that, right? About her internal disposition of her having a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
One of the things I know about you that I know would be important to you is family orientation, because you
Yes.
have a big family and your family's very loving. They always spend time together. So I know that, get somebody that doesn't want to be around, whose
Yeah,
kids is this? Like, that's
wouldn't
not
work.
going to work.
That's not gonna work. And my family isn't overwhelming. Like, my family is very welcoming, and
Right.
they know how to read a room. But at the
Right.
same time, I love family. I love road trips. So if I got somebody who don't love that, that's gonna be hard to navigate. That's gonna be
Country.
hard.
What is
I'll take it.
I'm with you just on the road trip. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I love.
Justin will load us up in something quick, and we definitely
Listen.
drive across something. So
Yeah,
we
listen,
definitely
I
do
love
road
it.
trips. We're good with that. But he's very family oriented, and all of those things. So that's dope. But what's non-negotiables? Just what is non-negotiables for you?
A non-negotiable. I mean, obviously you have to. I mean, so this new season of my life, you have to be open to being a first lady. I mean,
Listen,
that's a
Come on.
non-negotiable. Like, that's easy to disqualify you out of the, out of off of my list, if you want to call it a list or whatever. Because I mean, our destinies, they have to complement each other. Our purpose, they have to complement each other. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't necessarily need another entrepreneur. Prefer you gotta 9 to 5, a little stability. I'm just playing, but no,
Okay.
whatever
No,
you want
that's
to do,
fair.
but no, whatever you want to do,
That
you're
makes sense,
entrepreneur.
though.
If you're not, that's cool. Like, that's not a big non-negotiable. But what is a non-negotiable is you have to be intentional about your financial life. Like, it is definitely a non-negotiable if you just live on the wild side and you're not intentional about your finances. Debt, you can be in debt. I'm not saying you can't be in debt or nothing like that crazy, but we have to like have a plan. You got to be willing to work the plan with me. That's non-negotiable. Like, we got to be financially conscious.
Yeah.
But again, you don't know that until you date. I wouldn't dare, try to find out somebody's financial status on the first date, second date. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Understood. Yeah. That's kind of like when we talked about what do you bring to the table, right? So, what it means is that, and even so, like, the qualification of being the first lady, that has to do with, the person's character. It has to do with their natural desires. And here's the thing. This is what we've said to the past few, shows, is that we're not saying that necessarily how anybody feels is wrong. Right. What we're saying is we're giving kind of like our perspective so that you can find yourself in it and ask God for the wisdom to navigate your own situation.
Right.
But for the most part, it's fair, right? We're naming some of these things that are kind of qualifications, so to speak. But the deeper root of it is that's basically what we're really kind of attacking, right? Shaq made a comment earlier about, how do you treat your children? That kind of represented a big deal, right? How, the status of your house and your family, the fact that Justin cares about family, that's a big deal, right? Because I know some people that was a deal breaker. My big family was something that they didn't want to be bothered with because their family dynamic wasn't such a great one, right? So they didn't, want that. But it really just matters what God is saying to you about the
Right.
person, about what you feel is common, what you feel is not. You know, we do this all in fun and everything else, but it's very serious, right? Because we're talking about navigating singleness and doing it in the healthy way. At the end of the day, you know, we're up here, and I trusted them to be up here because they're doing it in a God-fearing, healthy, and pleasing to God way, right? I know some men and women that do not. That, you know, do not, as far as like how they live and, you know, all of those things, and or did not make this decision, which has been challenging for us to abstain, you know. But while we're doing this and while we're walking this out, what does this look like for us? You know, what experiences look like, things that we've gone through, some things funny, some things not. I think that when it comes to us though, what I will say about the ghosting, I think that I think that at this point, only ghosting should only be necessary on stalker status. That's what I feel. Like I feel like somebody should have the respect to say, you know, hey, I don't want to do this, or no, thank you. Now, sometimes we're scared to, because I've been, and I can't say, I mean, I was trying to sit here and think too. Like I was thinking, like Shaq was thinking, like, did I ghost somebody? I don't know if I ghosted them. I feel like I said no, thank you, and they persisted.
Right. So what is ghosting? Can y'all define that? Because
I think
I
ghosting,
need some clarity on that.
I think ghosting is
some
when
clarity.
you're like, you're talking, you're connected, there's some type of relationship being formed or built, right?
Oh,
Some
so
type.
okay.
And then, you know, you just disappear. Don't return texts no more. Don't return calls no more. Don't return DM. Go
Yeah.
look for you, and then you gone. You're not even on my
Okay.
Facebook page no more.
So let me clean what I said. Let me clean that up, because that doesn't apply if somebody asks for my number. We don't have a relationship. You know what I mean? So I can't ghost you if we ain't been talking.
Right.
Yeah, so social media. So like what E said, we said last show that social media is kind of like when we gave about like the social media handle. Like be like, hey, you know, so I have asked, I've been like, hey, you on are you on social media, your Facebook? And then we go through the whole rigmarole. No, I never get on Facebook, but I'm on Instagram. You know, I never go on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. We go through all of that. And then there's an exchange, and then it gives an opportunity for continuing the conversation. Because like I said, sometimes we meet people in different places, all the conferences we go to, all the networking events and business stuff. We don't see nobody no more.
Got you. I got you.
And I'll be look, Erica, I'll be like, was he sure? Did he make a mistake? Was he sure? You know, was he sure? So social media handles, we felt like that was a little bit safer and better than phone numbers, and then we can stalk you and stop acting like we don't, because we do. When anybody's interested in anybody, just so you know, everybody, there's a word for my sponsors. It's another word for my sponsors of Summer Love. When you give somebody a social media handle, they are checking everything out about you. They will go back to when you first started your social media accounts to see who you were, where you came from. Every time they see you with the opposite sex, they're going to try to determine if that's your mother, your aunt, your sister, your cousin, or your woman, or your man. Okay. That's how it works, and that's what we
social media though. Let me say this: this non-aggressive way of letting a person know you're interested on social media. You comment the heart eyes. That's the open door. Like now you let me know, like, oh snap, like you interested. It's a difference of like a heart versus the heart eyes. The heart eyes is like, you interested. You just put the heart. Screaming. That's cool, you know. Even the hand heart is, you know, that's a little borderline, but I get it. That's cool. But if you post them heart eyes, you know that's you unaggressively is letting me know that you know what's up. You know,
that's it. So, ladies, that's it. Like, listen, that was the golden key that we needed. Amen. When you give them heart eyes, it don't matter what it's on. Okay, it don't matter what picture or post. When you see them ladies, give them heart eyes. It's gonna mean something different. It's gonna speak.
Oh, we got Nikita.
That's the safe. That's the safe way to do it. That's the safe way.
Hold up, these. I'm weak.
Heart eyes. What, Shaq? How do you feel about heart eyes?
What do you mean? Just put them on my picture?
On the picture.
I get
or the DM if you don't want to be, you know, discreet, you know, because everybody gonna see the heart eyes, not just the person. Yeah, so if you put the heart eyes on a picture, you letting the whole world know like you interested. But if you do it in a DM, you definitely, you know, you letting the person know like,
yeah, I mean, I don't
real interested.
On social media, I don't really take it like like, oh, if I get a hard eyes, I need to go jump her DMs. Hey, I don't I just,
But is it if it's a person that you interested in,
if it's
right?
a
Because I
person
think if it's somebody you interested in, it changes everything.
but see, even with that, if I'm interested in them, but see, what I do anyway, I try to spread the attention, so I heart every comment. You know what I'm saying? I heart every comment.
That's smart. That's
But if
smart.
it's somebody that you either connect with or you might like, or you know what I'm saying, it's just that conversation is going to progress. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I don't think you should be thirsty and jump out the window and parachute in their DMs ASAP. You got to play it cool.
No, it's so funny because people do stuff like go in the DM, like, don't be liking my picture.
Yeah.
On week at Claudia Young, she said limit heart usage if not interested. Got it.
One of the guys been taking a good checklist all night.
Oh man.
She been taking a good checklist.
Yeah, I'm with Nikita. She said it's the consistency you get
When they keep
the
giving you the
liking,
hard
yeah.
eyes.
Yeah,
That's true.
that was
Yeah,
then
that's
you be
true.
like, all right
What's
now.
going on? So
But it's
okay, so
still
the
not
next,
aggressive. It's still cool. It's not like too much.
it's not so this goes to what Shaq was saying kind of earlier, but then we kind of switched up. But it was kind of like when he was saying, so you saying that, is it safe to say, that's what I was saying, is it safe to say that because a man has not pursued somebody that they've been around and they've been around this person, because technically speaking, is the oblivious that sometimes make it be, is it because they're not interested, right? Would a man literally be around somebody that they're interested and not do anything or not say something? So could it just be that? And I'm just saying for the sisters, because I think we talked about that too. We talked about friend zones, right? And we talked about, so is it safe to say that if he has not done anything at this point, then he won't, or he just don't see that? What do y'all think about that part?
You want to go or you want?
Yeah, I'll go. You just gotta wait on the Lord. I mean, I'm being honest. If you do the hard eyes, if you call him cute, if you do all the what's on the list, and he ain't pursued you, he ain't did nothing. Wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord. Because you don't want to cross that line and say, and then be too much. You don't want to be too much. So you gotta wait on the. Not saying he'll never, catch a hint or be interested. But don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I do not hold your absolutely. But see, it doesn't mean he's necessarily not interested. He might be watching, right? He might be waiting for it. Might be a timing issue. He might be waiting for it to organically, whatever. But what I would advise is don't sit around waiting for that man to make a move. You better go live life.
Yes.
What you got to do.
Don't wait around. Move on.
Day, if he sees somebody else, making the move, then he gonna probably feel pressed. But I wouldn't advise to sit around wait for anybody to talk, especially if y'all frequent a space together. You know what I'm saying? You've made yourself available. You did the comment. You kind of flirted with him, and you don't see anything happen from that. I say go about your business, and then, I say don't sit around waiting for him to see it.
Correct.
Shaq said skedaddle.
Yeah. To the day, he ain't the only person out here.
Correct.
But that's an interesting concept, right? Because you got to look at and this is why you got to be in healing to date, because rejection is kind of part of that whole dating thing. And if you're not good with being rejected, right, then you're gonna have these harbor of feelings that don't really even exist. But rejection is part of it. He's not interested. That does not mean you're not a good woman or good man, or you're not handsome, you're not cute. He's just not into you. Everybody is not going to be into you, and you're trying to find, or you're trying to connect with the one, right? So if he's not giving you any, to me, you're not interested right now, or you're not interested at all, like, move on. That's it. Life goes on.
But again, that's residue of the purity culture that we were taught. Like, it's that one soulmate. So if the Lord didn't even convince yourself that this is God and everything else, and you gonna hold yourself in prison, wait on this one person versus being able to move on and see who else the Lord may have for you.
The devil is a lie. God gives us choices, and they have a
Yes,
choice to be with you or not. You can't force
correct.
nobody to be with you, just like God does not force us to serve him. The devil is a lie. Y'all better
That's
get that
true.
out of your mind. Talking
Yeah,
about
but
that's
Mhm.
a
my
lot of
husband.
that comes too,
No.
and a lot of that comes too because that's what we're talking about from the beginning about how healed is healed enough for you to
Mhm.
even be thinking about something. We right now we just talking about dating. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, how healed is healed enough to even be dating and to bring somebody into your space because we see a lot of trauma bonds. We see a lot of,
Yeah.
trust people that's been with so much things they have not healed from these things and then they go and enter into serious relationship or engagement or whatever, but you weren't healed enough because that has
Yeah.
to do with your perspective. That
Yeah.
has to do with how you see. You know what I'm saying? So are you healed enough to even be considering of somebody else? Because that healing has to do with that rejection piece and portion. Oftentimes, too, you know what the problem is? I feel like me and Shaq was talking about this recently, that men and women evolve, right? They change and they grow, and they're not the same anymore. And
Mhm.
then as time goes on, you wondering why y'all not growing together, but y'all never
Mhm.
started together.
Right.
Y'all never started together, right? Prophet Kevin Leal always says, he was like, you don't end wrong, you start wrong. That means some
Mhm.
things transpired that probably needed to be better looked at.
Yeah.
But then it matters what our condition was before, right? Just like every time, like Shaq mentioned about the when we minister, what ministers go through when we pour out to the level and degree that we pour out. What happens before, what happens after. I would get demonically attacked after a high moment in the Lord, every time until I begin to take note and sitting there crying and everything else. And the Lord is like, well, look what happened last time, and time before that, and time before that. And I begin to take inventory of what that looks like. I said to say we need to pay attention to the before and the after, not just the aftermath, trying to put it together. And this is why even this space was created, so that people can consider some things a little bit more deep, before they go ahead and they do what they need to do, right? I think that us navigating kingdom singleness and being abstinent is two different things. Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people that's quote unquote kingdom singles and they were still having sex. They were still out there acting like there was no Jesus. They was living double lives and they was on the low. And it was like that for a very, you know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
different. Like, when you're trying to really live for the Lord, what does that take?
Mhm.
What kind of sacrifice is needed, spiritually. They mention natural, but I'm talking about the spiritual, a preparation for that as such, because that makes a difference too. I feel like some of those things cause delay when we
Yeah.
intertwine ourselves when we're not supposed to, or doing those things that we should not be doing, but our hearts getting attached to somebody that we shouldn't in a dating situation is just so unnecessary. And for all of us that are ministers, we're all ministers up here, that causes so much unnecessary trauma. And that's why a lot of us just stay single too, right? Because it'd be like, you know what, I ain't even dealing with all this, let me just chill out. I told Justin
Mhm.
earlier, I was like, my side of the bed has the Bibles, the books, the journals,
The
and
remote.
everything. This is safe. Bring a Negro in here and then change everything up. This is safe. Okay.
Paper
I
Bible
ain't got to
thing.
deal with, all of whatever. I don't want to deal with this foolishness.
Right.
What I'm thinking about, what it takes for us to be really, because the thing is, we're trying to do it right. Like
Right.
we're trying to do it right. Like
Yeah.
we're trying to navigate best as possible. I read the books. I'm listening to the podcast. I'm in the groups, right? That's supporting our singleness, our abstinence, and everything else. I'm a part of that community, of that whole abstinent community they call, it's called the Sexless
Mhm.
Camp. I'm part of that community. I have been trying to navigate those things. I'm not going to say that I'm burning or anything like that, because God actually delivered me from lust. But the thing is companionship. And I
Right.
have dated two quote unquote Christian men that were proclaiming Christ, but still doing stuff. Oh wait, I'm sorry. So there's two different kinds of Christians. Wait, two. There's
There's
one
one.
type, then there's
There's
another
one.
type. Then which? Okay, so how do I know which one you are? So that's what we was talking about, the vetting part
Mm.
of really, getting to know what's not too much. I think this is a fine line, and to each will be different, because we're going to meet them different. We're going to be at different spaces, but it definitely
Mhm.
matters that we're healed. It
Yeah.
definitely matters that we see right. Because we're not going to close our eyes and run through the sprinkler and then end up just with you know,
Right.
Michael and Lisa. You know what I'm saying?
Lisa from the corner.
And Mike, we're not gonna end up with Mike and Lisa. Like I just can't, because what is all these irreconcilable differences from these marriages had to
Right.
do with a lot of this. So what is an irreconcilable difference? Back in the day, that wasn't gonna happen.
Right.
Did he hit you, sis?
It's
Did he
on
cheat? Did she cheat? Before that was the standards. Now divorce is so easy, especially with us. Like, you know what I'm saying? We have a different standard in the world. Divorce has become so easy. I see men and women that I love, that I've known forever, that were saved, that did ministry, that did, together.
Yeah.
And divorce, like, after 1,000 years. Like, why? Like, what
Yeah.
happened? What
Yeah.
happened? Like, I'm concerned about that. So this is
Yeah.
all in fun. But at the end of the day, from our heart to yours, right? You're really going to
And
have to, just like Justice says, seek the Lord. You're going to have to seek the Lord, but definitely exercise wisdom and godly counsel. And don't let somebody just agree with you when you ask them, what's what, right? Bring
Mhm.
people around to vet, bring your loved ones around, your family
Yeah.
around, those that you're close to, and let them kind of experience you and them. I explained on the last show, some of my family was like, I don't like you with him.
Mhm.
Not only, I don't even know him. Some was like, I don't like him.
Mhm.
They was like, I don't like how you are with him.
Mhm.
I don't like that. They didn't like how I was with them because I wasn't myself. But that wasn't something I could see in the midst of that.
Mhm.
What was you gonna say, Just?
I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. It's all good. It's probably exercising wisdom. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's good. Let me see.
I touch on the healing part that you talked
Yeah.
about.
All right, guys, but I'm so sorry. I got to get out of here.
We love you,
I
Just.
stayed
We
10
love
extra
you.
minutes.
You were a great laugh. Bless you, man
Oh
of
man,
God.
I love it. I really had a good time, y'all. I had a great time.
Do you have any last remarks that you want to leave for the people then?
Anything I said on this live, please don't let it stop you from coming to my church.
I got you. I shall protect thou.
All right,
All
love
right,
y'all.
Just. Love you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean.
So the healing part, you asked me earlier, like, how do are you healthy enough or healed enough to date? And although you might feel that, you don't know until you really do it.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? Because you might feel like the desire's coming back, before where it wasn't there. So you feel that, and you might really believe that, but you really don't know how healthy you are until you just really go ahead and put your toe in that water and and go out there and really try it. So
I feel you.
that's what I would tell people to do, is really just take your time, find good people, people you're interested in, vet them, and you're gonna have to actually push past all of the things that may be keeping you there, because you really don't know until you get out there. Then when you start dealing with people again, then you start to see, well, hold on, maybe I'm not ready. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to go back and do some more work, or I am ready and we could go forward. So I think that's the ultimate test, is really get out there and really show your work. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. I think a good measure for that part. So we have to experience it and kind of see where we are. But I think another good measure of that part is, are we sober? Right.
Yeah.
And that sobriety will be based upon like our motives. Right. What's going on with that? Do I want somebody in my space? Am I a serial dater? Right. Do I
Right.
want somebody in my spaces to say I'm with somebody? Or am I, what is my goal for even this interaction? A lot of singles, are we kingdom and just dating to date because we want companionship, or are we dating for marriage? Before it goes to courtship, before it goes to any of those things, so I think the goal and the goal of why we're doing what we're doing, and then determining how sober we are, right? Because if you're oversensitive, right, it's okay to be sensitive and to be gentle, but if you're extremely sensitive and everything hurts you, or everything offends you, then you're probably not ready, right? Because relationship, not necessarily getting to the marriage part, but just the relationship in itself is going to take some moving around And if you're overly sensitive, you might be have offended ears. Everything may be offensive to you. Everything may be, oh, you're criticizing me. You're doing this, you're doing that. But we wanted to make sure that, as kingdom singles, that we don't bring over our baggage and our residue from previous situations into our new situations, and not do almost like a to be continued. When you're a serial dater, you're almost doing a to be continued. Because sometimes we don't even process long enough for the old situation. We don't process that out enough. So where we in the new situation, be like, oh, me and Pete used to go get pizza on Friday. Now you with Jim and you're like, oh, you want to go get pizza?
No.
It's Friday.
Jim don't even like pizza.
Pete don't even, you'll say Jim don't even know what you and Pete used to do.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But you done brung that over with the expectations, the things that you liked about Pete, you looking for in Jim. You know what I'm saying? And you looking, you kind of want to do it like a to be continued if there's not enough time to heal. And if there's, just like Shaq said earlier, like, sometimes you go through traumatic experiences. I've been divorced. I was young. I was in my 20s. I had no business being married. I didn't even understand. And that's why I said I could say, like, don't let people that just going to agree with you help walk you through. Should I say I do?
Right.
Like, don't. Like, let people be like, no. You play too much. He play too much. He lying. You need to stop it. You need to be you need to be more healed. He need to be more healed. This is crazy. I know y'all see butterflies and whatever it is y'all seeing, but this is off. This is not right. And when I dated a few years ago, what Shaq said, it let me know how far I've grown and what I need to work on, because I not dated in so long. Mentally trying to get it together can only go but so far. That's what he said. You just gonna have to, kind of, I was about to say jump in, stick your foot in the water and see temperature is. But when I was in it, I was like, okay, I'm navigating this. Oh, I did grow in this. I was more gentle. I was more soft. I was more, oh, let's talk this out and work this out. Remember, Erica? I was like, let's talk about this. Let's see. I remember one time the guy was dating at the time. We had this fight and we didn't speak for like 4 days. And we was like, oh, we got to talk. He was like, oh, we got to talk. I was like, all right. So came to my house, and in my head, I was just like, old Key, how old Key would navigate this? Old Key wouldn't even let you come to my house. Talk to me over there. Like, don't but I was like, let's talk about this. And he came in with such a strong anger disposition, like mad, like, like about to flip on me. And I just hugged him. That's what I was led to do. I hugged him until it died. Like, until whatever was about to happen that was going to be so painful to us both. A nasty argument. Nasty. I hugged him, and then it stopped. And then he was so angry. I remember him, like, tears coming out of his eyes. He was crying. And then he said, I was like, okay, so we're going to talk. He was like, yo, Key, he said, I was so mad. I thought I knew I was going to say, I rehearsed it in my mind all the way here, but I can't. And God did something for me in that. Because where I really experienced a gentle word will turn away wrath. I was so gentle that he couldn't attack me. He couldn't come at me that way. But we were able to have a sober conversation, a calm conversation, because I'm not for arguing. A deal breaker for me is arguing. I'm not. My most angry moments, I'm not yelling. My most angry moments, I'm completely quiet. Erica, is it the truth?
Yes.
I don't believe in it. We got to say pineapples or some type of code word for you to go in your corner and I'll go to mine until we could calm down and we could touch each other. We got some sense.
Yeah.
As soon as the voice elevates, I done mentally checked out. I am not with that. For me, that is a no. I cannot handle it. I cannot. And I think, I'm healed from what I've been through younger and those types of things that make that a problem. But I just put it as a standard in my own life, I'm not tolerating that. So there's got to be some type of conversation. Are we gonna walk around on, clouds all day? That's a lie. That's not true. We're gonna have disagreements. We're gonna have ups and downs. However, we're not gonna be disrespectful, because a standard should be set beforehand of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Go ahead, Shaw. You like you was gonna say something.
No, no, I'm sitting here getting poured into. Yes, Lord.
Just saying.
I'm sitting there like, yes, Lord, but it just shows the growth. The growth. Like I would have handled it this way before, but that was the work I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like the work you put it in that. And now we go to another situation, and I'm handling it totally different.
Mm-hmm.
That this is something I was talking about or reading or something the other day, and I don't think it's been applied to relationships, or it might have, but I don't know. But if we as the church, right, can just understand that the people that are in our lives, they're really God's, like the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein, right? The people, the inhabitants, they all belong to God. We need to treat people like they belong to God.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I don't think we all obviously fall short, but I think if we could be conscious of that, like, if you are married or children, relationships, friends, whatever those relationships are, the people are really in your care, you know what I'm saying, and your stewardship. They're really God's, so I think if we're more conscious of how we're dealing with people, like, and not dealing with it from our anger or frustration or whatever, how we dealt with it before, I think we'll be a lot better off. And I think that although it does apply to the world, I think the church specifically has to do a really has to observe that a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to just jump in there and say, in regards to like being healed enough and things of that nature, it's like when you begin to date, what I realize it's like the person sitting across from you becomes like a mirror, right? It's so different from any other relationship that you would have, because the connection would be different. It's not even a friendship where you can tell your friend X, Y, and Z, and sometimes like your husband, your future husband, or your future wife would then begin to like say some little things about you that you might be embarrassed about, like you talk too much, like you too loud, you this and that. Coming from that mirror, it doesn't feel as good. So that healing portion, or being so much of yourself that you kind of understand, because sometimes people, like, you're dating somebody and something toxic will be that they are very nitpicking, and then end up being nitpicking to you as a husband, like, oh, why like, not to use Shaq, but if Shaq is a good dresser, like, oh, I don't like the way you dress, and da-da-da. So then you like something that you're not even like in your mind, you begin to become self-conscious for things that you never was really self-conscious for, because now you got this walking mirror, and in a negative way, right? This walking mirror that's always telling you what you're not, and who you're not measuring, versus that mirror that is like, is very confident, saying the nice things to you. But I think when you're not healed, those things can do different things to you, right? It can if it can be a setback, right? Because maybe you're not ready for that constructive criticism from somebody you're trying to spend the rest of your life with. That might sound like an attack, right? Like, let's be honest, that might sound like an attack, and he didn't mean it that way, she didn't mean it that way, but your heart, you just went through series of attacks from people mistreating you or walking all over you and this, that, and the third. So I still would go with that saying, like, you definitely, you need to know if test out the waters, right? Because you can't be in the closet and talking about I'm getting ready. You really don't know when you're ready until you place in that position. But be mindful of if the mirror is too much, right? If the mirror is causing me to digress, to who I used to be, the muzzled voice, the woman that hides in the corner, or the man that doesn't feel secure in my manhood, and this, that, and the third. Like, pay attention to that mirror, especially when you're dating. Like, this morning, as I was meditating on what we're going to talk about and what to say, one of the things the Lord said, it was like, see, but in sight. Just don't see with your natural eyes. See in sight. See the spirit. Like, see how this could really work. Can you deal with this person saying these things to you for the rest of your life? Not until I get a divorce. For the rest of my life, can I take this? Right.
Right.
And what I hear, right? Because some people can be annoying. You like, I'm gonna just marry him, but he always been annoying. Like, everybody, he's been annoying. He's an annoying person, right? So the Lord was like, here, like, not with your ears, but here in the realm of the spirit. How does that, all of that, make you feel as a person, right? I think we talked about this one time, Key. Like, when you, what was how did you want to feel when you with your person? Like, what would that feel like? Like, we talked about the best person we dated, and why did that feel like that? They made me feel like they made me feel safe. Not safe in physical form only, but I can share my thoughts. I can speak my mind. My spiritual, who I am spiritual, is not offensive or it's not scary to them. Like, and then also, like, they made me feel like the prettiest woman in the world.
Yeah.
Or a man, he would say, like, she made me feel confident. She made me feel like I could do anything. Like, she's so encouraging. I didn't have that. I didn't have a woman to speak life to me. So all of those things that's going to make you thrive positively should be some of the things that when you're sitting down talking to this person, you're listening for. Not him trying to smooth you out and court you. What is he saying behind the scene?
Yeah.
Right? What does that really mean?
That's so good.
So we really got to be careful, because, and if you feel like you're digressing back, then it's not time for you to date. That's when you know it's not time.
Listen, I remember when I was dating a few years ago, I had a hard time praying in front of him. I was like, this ain't gonna work. This is not gonna work, but you said something interesting. So oftentimes we'll think about relationships that we had, we'll think about the good times. Sometimes people think about the good times so much they end up keep going back because it's the good times. But when it was bad, it was really bad, right? It wasn't like balanced. And so if I can think about times where I did feel safe, or times where I had like a good relationship or whatever, some of the qualities of that without getting sucked up in the who it was. Does that make sense? So I was like, these were great things that happened, but that don't mean he was it.
Right.
I just like these qualities, right? But as he was saying that, I was thinking about one of my exes who I felt like best suited me, which is different from who I was head over heels for.
Right.
Best suited me because I remember we was at a house party. He was at a house party in Brooklyn, and he had a big family. He was Haitian, had a big family, and all the family gathered that night. And I remember I came in the house, and it was a bunch of couples, like 20, 25 to 30 people in there. Like, it was a good amount for a house party, right? And I remember I came in, he was proud he was proud to have me. So it was like that. It was like the showing me off and da da da. Then it was like, yeah, she's this and this and this. And then I remember sitting on the couch and I was cutting up. Like, like the clown that I could be. I was acting a fool. And they were rolling. His guy cousins, the girlfriends, everybody was cracking up. And I always remember the moment because I felt safe because who I was not intimidating to him. You know what I'm saying? I could be myself. And he felt proud to have me with him and didn't feel like, or never shut me up. Like, you're talking too much, or you to this, or you to that. I felt safe that he let me be me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that became a thing that I know that best suits me. I am naturally strong, but I know how to be submissive. Like, I'm naturally strong, but I know how to listen. And I think that that's what I learned too about myself when I was in that situation a few years ago, how far I had come, because I was just scared and I just stayed away altogether. I just stayed away from it altogether because I thought it was safe. And then, but to get out and to try to get to know somebody, in this day and age, like I said, two men I've talked to before, claim to have this relationship with the Lord. But if I'm completely honest, I did not see fruit. If I'm completely honest, the mouth came out their mouth and they did actions of church. I did not see, they did church. I did not see fruit, lifestyle fruit. And I'm really big proponent on how that kingdom marriages are under attack and threat just because it's covenant of God. How can we get in the ring with somebody that can't fight with us?
Right.
That doesn't have the capacity or the bandwidth. We're talking about men and women that have calls on their lives. How can we possibly just attach ourselves to anything and everything? And I also know when you do attach yourself to something, and you ever seen those odd couples, sis be fly, he don't, or he fly and sis not. And be like, y'all don't even match. Y'all don't even match. How did this happen? You know how it happened? Because you date how you feel about you.
Yeah.
You date how you feel about you. You're attracted to the thing. And you can tell how somebody feels about themselves,
Absolutely.
about what they accept, about what they tolerate, and what they connect to themselves. And this is why I said we got to be sober if we're going to make any serious decision or choice. Because what happens when we healed? You're going to roll over and look at them like, what the heck are you doing here? I have done it. What are you doing here? I changed my mind. I'm healed now. Jesus is my rock and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Shabbat. Who are you and why are you here? I changed my mind. It's easy to change your mind when all of it didn't connect in the first place. It's easy to change your mind, ain't it? Because there was some missing links to begin with, some missing things. That's why I was talking about what's the non-negotiables. Because what's the things that would be like, let's just save ourselves the headache. This is going to be a problem. And like I said, like you said, it's not going to mean that you're bad or, there's just somebody for you. And that's just not me. Because your destiny, you saying God called you to Japan. Bring me a souvenir, send me a postcard. But I'm just not going over there. He called me to here. You know what I'm saying? He called me to California. You say I want to live in Ohio. What something has to come together. But we got to know ourselves though, because that's a part of healing too. If we don't know ourselves, then how do we choose? We can't blindly choose. It's just too much on the line. I'm like, marriage in itself is already a challenge with growth. As much as possible, everything ain't gonna be perfect. We ain't gonna do this whole thing all right. I mean, but as much as possible, shouldn't we have at least the ground basics like included? Consider, we make big purchases. We're gonna buy a house. What's some things in the house I know I need? I need a nice kitchen. I need space to cook. I need the bathrooms to be nice. I need my master bedroom to be dope. But we have base things that we're concerned about. Before we make a big purchase. I'm gonna buy this computer. How many RAMs does it have? How many gigs does it have?
That's true.
Does it have a sustainability long term? I'm about to buy this TV. I send Shaq everything that's technical, anything. I'm like, Shaq, is this good? Should I buy this? Is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? And then he tells me, what to do. But before you make a big purchase and you invest, I need to look at some statistics, some facts, I gotta research. I can't just make this big purchase because then I don't value my money or the time I spent to make my money. So how can I just attach myself to just anybody and not do some research and determine who exactly are you and do I want to have kids by you and what's in your blood and what's in your family and do I want to be bothered and can you come to the cookout? Are you gonna look at my family like that crazy? Am I gonna look at your family like that crazy? Are you gonna? Is your family gonna even like me? Are they mean? Do they not? You know what I'm saying? Because I see marriages too where the in-laws were terrorists.
Yeah.
I mean, button in relationship marriages. I mean, terrorists. I see my family go through that terror.
That's true.
And then, but this is a part of your family. Because we dreaded Thanksgiving every year. We dreaded Resurrection Sunday every year. Every New Year's and Christmas, we got to go to your grandma house. We're dreading it every year. Just saying.
Mm. I want to touch on something you said, because what you said is facts about you date how you feel about yourself. When you said that, that wore me out. I said, true.
Oh, God.
You have a low value of yourself, you're going to accept just what you think you can get.
Yeah.
And you're going to put up with things that you don't have to put up with. And you're going to entertain people that really are not in your league. It's just that you don't think very high of yourself. That is and you know, this is crazy what I'm about to say. But I could go back and look at, you know, some of my exes like that. You can see the like the graph of where my mental was at. But it was like, whoa, I was in a crazy place when I got with this person. A little bit better when I got with that person.
Facts.
Oh, I was in the dumps when I got with this person. You know what I'm saying? You know?
That's good.
The dumps.
It's like when God heals you and you grow and you mature and you get delivered and all of those things, and you look back, you'd be like, man, it's crazy. When you think about it, you'd be like, oh my God, I went through something there, because I could never imagine myself even, this person didn't even get past hello. How they at a point where I was so low that, you know, that looked good to me. Now it's like, listen, you can't even get a hello. That's a block.
Remember that's a song. You had me at hello. That's a song. That's why I was singing it in my head while you were saying that. It's true.
Woo, but yeah,
you had me at hello.
And that's one of the things that Kevin Leo said to me years ago. And I think at the time, was I married? I can't remember. I think I was either married or about to get married. He's like, you know what, Shaq? You got to work on your fruit of the spirit. And I just was like, why is he attacking me?
You sound like him. Dad. We got to let him know we shouted him out.
we you know, I don't know if we typically equate that to being successful in relationships. But I think if we focus on those things, love, peace, long suffering, the gentleness, right?
Forbearance.
Absolutely.
All of those things, that's the cheat code, really, to
good.
Success, yeah.
To me, I was like, well, I got fruit of the spirit. I didn't have enough fruit of the spirit. I didn't have it. That's why he was telling me that. You know, now it's like, okay, he gave me the cheat code and I fumbled it, but now I got it. So I'm gonna...
That's good. I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I think that's that's really good.
Yeah.
About the vetting with the fruit. I don't even think we've talked all this time, and technically we've been talking about different aspects or characteristics, but I think that's a really good summary of everything is the fruit, because that forbearance means that we can stick it through some things, you know, a stick to itness, you know, to not be able to crumble so easily, endurance, stamina, longevity, you know, sustainability. You know, I love how they always tell, you know, when they talk about kingdom marriage, it's us against that, not us against each other, you know. But the thing is that when I always say, you know, when somebody's in a struggle or tug of war, it's something is across from you trying to gain power, like opposition or pushing you with resistance. But if you're in agreement with it, it's next to you. Even with certain counseling strategies, you know, me being a counselor, when you sit next to somebody, it means a different level of support than when you sit across from somebody. So when you sit next to somebody, it signifies I'm with you. You know, like you're not in this by yourself. You know, we're together. But that's the problem, right? If sometimes too, you know, marriage reveals you, right? You can see people a lot better and you can see yourself, but you really see what's what in that covenant.
Yeah.
That's a God thing, whether you serve God or not. That's a God. That covenant is a God. It's his idea.
Yep.
It is his idea. So if I'm sitting on the side of you and we're in agreement and you got 3 fruit and I got 2, how many fruits there is? 9. You got 3 fruits. I got 2. Because half and half don't make no whole. Whole and whole makes whole in kingdom. So you got a few fruits. I got a fruit. And we're going to try to make a cake?
Nope.
What are we going to do? What we
Don't
gonna
have
do?
from Walmart section either.
That's what we gonna do. Because
Right?
this is not gonna work. If I got gentleness, you know, and you got kindness. Gentleness and kindness. So it's two different things. That's two different things working. I think we rattle off the fruit of the spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, but we really don't know what exactly are we saying. You're not patient. You be saying you're not patient, and everybody getting on your nerves every 3 seconds. You're not even nice to people. You talk about patient. You don't
You're
have the
not
ability
God.
to. You see what I'm saying? You're not nice. You mean. Some saints are just mean. You're just not nice. You're not kind.
Mm-hmm.
Gentleness has to do with selflessness,
But
and you can
that's
put
tough.
somebody
These are
before
things
you.
that those are things that they should be really doing before the fruit should already have been bared and in blossom in fullness before you actually get into a relationship, because that's going to be detrimental to yourself. I think I preached one time that everything about fruit is, when you think about fruit itself, and this is probably why God used fruit, is for the other person to eat of. A
That's
fruit
good.
that eats of itself is going to be rotten, right?
That's
When the
good.
fruit begins to go bad, it begins to deteriorate from the outside in. So if your fruit is rotten and only you can bear from your own kindness and bear from your own, self-control and bear from, then that's not godly fruit, right?
Wow.
But that's something that you have to work on before you get into a relationship, because then what do your spouse or your partner have to eat of
That's good.
besides your rotten fruit?
That's
Who want to
good.
eat rotten fruit?
Woo.
They'll be trying to cut that part out and you saying ouch, but they just trying to eat the fruit.
Right. That's
But
so
they
good.
can't. They got to cut all of that, and you upset because they attacking you. But
Yeah.
really, they trying to cut away that part that kind of rot away, but it's still some good there, but not enough. But I
Yeah.
want to keep what's there. So that's why you got to let God do that gutting out. Let God do that. We should, I mean, and this, and let's be honest, right? We're going to grow. There's levels to this. Like we go from faith to faith and, all of those things, but you should have the basic foundation
Right.
of fruit. If you don't have evidence of fruit, like you got to go back to spirituality 101, right?
Hello.
Spirituality 101, because you're going to be not only a disaster to people but to yourself.
Yeah.
That ain't going to work for you.
God said nobody can eat from your fruit.
Listen. That was so good. Chanel said it sounds like y'all need to create a preparing for marriage program for singles. Don't entertain us with a good time.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think that, and this is why God does the work for us first. Like,
Right.
marry me first, commit to me first, be faithful to me first, let the kingdom be first, seek me first, and all things will be added, because then you will be aligned. But everybody, you want to get the man first, the money first, and this first, the woman first. And they try to put God in the middle of that and wonder why you got pure chaos.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But we got to do better.
So good. You guys, if you have any questions,
Mm.
please drop that in, because we're going to be wrapping up with closing remarks.
Yes.
With closing remarks. This was fun.
It was.
Fun. It was a lot of laughter, but it was still the Lord up in here. And just, sharing and really speaking, I believe, with his kingdom perspective about what we're managing, right? Nikita said this has been fun. Oh, I'm glad. We are naturally entertaining. We are naturally funny. We actually are like this in real life, right? When we get together, this is the truth. We are actually like this in real life. I'm looking at the question. So I'm going to share this question. I'm going to say it. Is it okay to tell someone that you only want to date for marriage? Is that too strong? I think that this is my opinion, and y'all can go. I think that when it comes to that, that it should be made clear the dating intentions beforehand, right? I'm not dating just to have a friend. I remember seeing something that was talking about dating sites before in the COVID, and people was putting stuff up like, dating for companionship, dating for friendship, like that was statuses, dating for friendship, dating for companionship. But I think that has to do with what we talked about before, as far as being clear and having conversations prior. And not waiting until we're in the middle of this. I thought you was gonna marry me, but I didn't say that's what I want to do. Right. And then you have a lot of unmet expectations, which also cause a very unclear ripple effect, because you didn't set the expectations to the beginning. I think that, and I don't think there's such a thing. We talk about the over talking. I think when it's talking about the matters of the heart, yes. But I think that's the preliminaries. Yes. If you text me every morning and say good morning, and then you stop texting me, I'm gonna look at you, because you was doing this already. Now why you stop? If that's so, you got what I'm saying? I'm talking about things like that happen like this, right? So here's the thing. What I've noticed, this is why we have a man here. What I've noticed is that men can be creatures of habit. You ever seen Tuka play that game? And it was like, what's the biggest lie men tell? Oh, I was working late. And it was all these men saying, and the guy was like, baby, I bought new cologne for you. I took that, was like, wait, you never do this and you never do that. I bought it for you. I changed this for you. I started doing this. So I'll flip it, so it's not just the men. I'll flip it for the women. For the women in Tyler Perry, Why Did I Get Married Part 2, Diane got caught because she started changing her undergarments. Remember? He was like, that's nice. He knew that she was up to no good because she changed something about herself that she always did. So not just the fellas, the women too sometimes, right? Like, when we stop doing something out of the norm, and then all of a sudden it's like, what is happening? It's just eyebrow raising. But that's why conversations are important, right? Maybe I called you every day when we first met because I was on vacation. Maybe I text you every morning and then I changed jobs and now I work different hours. But it merits a conversation instead of this just emotional thing that men and women go to that is so mature where we don't say what's the thing, right? So Shaq is about to talk, right? But I've known Shaq for some years, right? And Shaq is very direct. Like, he's blunt. That's why we were scared at first, right? That's why I was scared. Shaq just say what it is. And it'd be so nice. It'd be so, he'd be like, when Shaq started with,
you don't know. You don't want to know.
And that, but he's clear. He's clear. I've never heard mixed words from the man.
Praise God.
He's clear. Whether you want to hear it or not, he's clear. He'd be like, hold on. And if he start with, hear me out first, and he ain't say nothing before to hear me out, prepare. Go ahead.
I wanted to answer the question. They said, is it okay to tell someone that you only want to date for marriage? I think that's perfectly okay. Because again, people's intention can be different from yours. Like Kiyanni just said, people are dating for friendship, some dating for companionship, some is out here for a good time, not a long time. People are doing all kind of things, and I think that it's important to get to kind of weed out the ones that are not in alignment with you, because what you don't want is to be investing a lot of time with somebody, and you definitely don't want to try to, you don't want to invest time with somebody and it's not going to go anywhere, because the what you want are two different things, and then you definitely don't want to try to wrestle that person into wanting what you want. It's a waste. But I don't know. I think there are ways to ask a person their intentions without coming off as, look, if you ain't trying to get married, you ain't dating, So I think that, okay, so what are your intentions, or what are your views on this, or how? It's different ways to ask it where you can get the answer that you're looking for. And then, sometimes you do have to ask directly, but I don't think you say, look, if you ain't trying to get married, just don't. So there's ways that you can
Yeah, I think so too.
act,
You don't want to say
act,
that. That is gonna be like, well, bye.
yeah, because I mean, ain't nobody thinking about marriage right now. Because if you ask me, if I'm interested, and you say, well, look, if you ain't trying to date to marry, then don't date at all. I'm gonna be like, all right, well, then that's a wrap. Because I was just trying to go get some food right quick. Like, like eventually, I do want to get married eventually, but I think if you say that before we even go out, we can,
Right.
But again, if you are dating to marry, I don't think it's wrong if you date a person and you go out on a date and you discover that they don't want marriage. Then it's like, oh, okay, well, I had a good time, and it can end cordially and things like that. But so I hope that question.
That
Yeah,
was
I
very
think I
clear.
think it's a nice way of asking that. Like, what is your purpose? Like, what are you dating for? Like, what are you looking for? Right? I think that's a very easy question. But when you start making stakes in the road, you begin to put a little bit too much pressure. I mean, I wouldn't even like that question. Like, are you trying to get married? I may not want to be getting married to you, right? Because I don't want you when I'm trying to get to know if you are my guy thinking that we already on the road to marriage and we're not. We on the road to who are you, right? But am I in Shaq, don't laugh. Now Shaq making me act like I'm acting like Shaq. But it's very because just think about you don't feel the same about a person and they like if you like each other, I promise you, these questions would be a breeze in the park.
That's
When
true.
one person don't feel the same, it's very uncomfortable. It get a little uneasy. So you want to come in because you don't know the state of that person. You don't know if they just got out of a divorce. They just is everything is touchy. You like listen. What are you looking for? Listen, I'm looking for something serious when I find it. Right. I want to get married. However, but I want to get to know the person first. Make it very clear there is a getting to know. But if I meet somebody on the phone and I'm like, they like, hey, what's your birthday? Are we dating to get married? He gonna be like, ma'am, all I want to know what was your birthday, but it's all right. Happy birthday, though. I'll call you later and never call again.
Mm,
Everything has to be with some decency and some order, right? You gotta make your intentions clear, but you're not making a declaration like
Right.
boom. You don't know him to do that. You don't know him to do that. So, but be serious, be intentional, and understand like my questioning, like you know what, you got to learn how to get the answer, you know without being so like you can
mhm.
act, you can see if somebody wants to be married or they trying to be a playboy, because if a guy don't think you want to be married and he want to play with you, what are you gonna say? Yeah, I want to get married, but
Hmm.
his actions does not seem like he want to get married, right? So you don't want to be so like you don't want to be the got him. You got to protect your heart. So you got to know it's steps to this, bro. It's a flower you got to be able to unwind and get me to that point. So we got to be careful, but have a conversation. Take it easy, right? First date, please don't bring that up to me. I'm dating with the intention I want to be married, but it may not be you.
I want to say when Natalie says, she said, intention should be clear, and the earlier you communicate, the better. How you communicate it will also be important. That was really
Yeah.
good. Natalie Bennett. And then she said, a good way to say I'm dating
Oh,
with intentions, though hopefully as Christians, this wouldn't need to be said. Like
No,
say,
you.
you see what I'm saying? Right. That's what I was thinking, what she said just now
yeah,
about that part. About I would hope that I definitely understand the segue in between of the getting to know, but I think EU said it perfectly, that this would be my intentions when I find it.
right.
Then it takes the pressure off of, is it you, is it you, is it you, is it you, when the saints is looking, everybody, is it you? And you know what I'm saying? And then I feel like that just suffocates everything, but it doesn't, like, if you jump too far in your mind, it doesn't
Yeah,
allow you to properly vet. And I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes you become overcritical of
Yes.
something. Be like, oh my God, he wore a pink shirt. Wait, I just can't live the rest of my life with him wearing no pink shirt. Ma'am,
Calm
calm
down.
down. If you don't be fair, and if you get to, first of all, that's superficial. If you don't get to know him, then you would have been on bypass all the important things because we're thinking about long term too quickly. I think
Mhm.
that in the process of the dating and getting to know is when you build the relationship, the rapport, to that way that you're not thinking about those petty things. I think when you have a shallow relationship or surface base, everything will irritate you.
Yeah.
Everything will be annoying because you're vetting them based on, I think it's going to be this. I remember I had a friend, and this is some years ago. We went on a date. I feel like we looked at each other at the same time, like maybe. And we went out on a date, but there was nothing said. Nothing said. I think the fear of saying it would have pushed it into reality. So nothing was said. But we go out on this date and we're completely awkward. Somebody who we always hung out, always roll, always together, always. We ain't never had an awkward moment. We ain't never not have fun or have no words when we talking. But that's because now we're looking at each other in a way was, are you it? Are you the one? Are you the one? And when we did that, it kind of threw everything off because it wasn't conversation surrounding it. So there was something happening in the background that neither one of us were saying, but it was just so uncomfortable. And I
Yeah.
feel like, I feel like I already feel a way about the friendship thing, about the dating and friends. I've already expressed, y'all can give me an offering. So, but my thing is that, when it comes to that, the conversation should be said or something should be said. And, with the relationships to not be like, I'm so scared to lose my friend, if this tries and this does not happen. I know that couldn't happen because I seen that. But I also saw where because they were friends and they respected each other so much, they didn't violate each other. You know what I'm saying? Like they did not treat each other ill because they were friends and they were kingdom people. Like they, what we're talking about as far as the fruit of the spirit. But I think those things matter when you're talking about, trying to see if that person's the one prematurely. I think that could be premature too. Putting them
Yeah.
through the screening process for marriage,
It gets
you know,
scary.
and you mess around and you don't even have the found you bypass the foundational things of that even make you grow to. We got to stop acting like every part of them we gonna love.
That's true too.
We got to stop acting like that because we be acting like that. Like there's not going to be something that just gets on our nerves or there's not going to be something that we just don't like. But the point is that get on my nerves because he leave the TV on that night or he don't wash the bowl in the sink. That's different. You get what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
where he yelling and screaming and cursing in front of my children or he lose his temper and don't know how to act when he's mad. Oh, that's different. So we got to stop acting like we're going to be completely, everything is going to be whatever. If you have the basis of the thing, then we can get past those things. Shaq dresses really nice. He's fly. I definitely would expect him to say, I look for somebody that carries themselves in such a manner because he takes such pride and takes so much time in his clothing and his appearance and how he looks. And at the same time, you see on TikTok when they be like, she got the like the women change the way the men look, like the black girlfriend.
Oh.
You seen that? And it'd be different nationalities of men. And then when they got with her, their whole style change. They got slick backs and nice suits or whatever else. We can always change that.
Right.
The outfits let's go shopping together.
Outfits can change, right?
Outfits can change.
Yeah, that's true.
But you lying in your checkbook can't. Oh. Shaq, I'm done. And then we're going to wrap up. We can do closing remarks because
It's called the black wife effect.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That it blesses me every time.
We are done with the questions.
I think so. Yep, I think so.
Natalie said becoming the person you are looking for is looking for. Y'all get that? Did I read it right? I'm
Yeah, you
getting
did.
tired. Yeah.
What you saying, sis Natalie? What you saying, sis? And
Becoming the person
there was another
becoming the
comment.
person that you are looking for. Like if you're looking for someone who's clean, you got to be clean as well, right? You can't ask for something that you're not.
That's true.
Oh, I can't ignore this comment.
Okay. What is
I'm gonna
it?
sum up what she said as far as I'm a wife and don't know how to date. I used to be married, now gonna be married, so naturally a wife. So
Mm-hmm.
dating is challenging when you're a wife, right? I think that's fair. When you used to being a wife and then got to go pull back and go into dating mode, because I definitely had to do it. And but it wasn't as challenging for me to do it. One, I wasn't married long. I was only married for a year. I was in my late 20s. There was no children amongst us. I already had a daughter. And it wasn't that difficult for me to go back to a dating space from that marriage, because I don't think I was a wife to begin with, even though I was married. Feel me? So being a wife, living like that, going back into I got to pull back, I got to vet, I got to consider, I got to think, all those things. If Pastor Justin was here, I'm sure he said we just got to trust God. I'm gonna echo him for that response. We're just gonna have to seek the Lord on that one, and see it as something fresh and new perspective. Because all I keep thinking about is Diary of a Mad Black Woman with Helen. What Helen was writing in her journal, talking about, some days I'm crying, some days I'm not. I just have to find myself. I'm finding something new. I'm doing something new. I'm challenged to do new things, new places, meet new people. Helen was stuck in that beautiful palace and just stuck. That
Right.
beautiful home. Charles left the home every daggone day. She was just stuck
And
in
yeah.
that beautiful house with the maids, doing nothing. Beautiful clothes with nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how Charles had her like, almost like a trophy. Only brung her out to play when it was something that made him look good. So when she says she's finding herself and she began to journal through all of that before she met her new, just her process was very realistic. She was like, I don't think I can do this. And that's what her mother kind of talked her through. Yes, you can. But that newness can be an enjoyable journey if it's looked at as God, this is something new. And because you have him with you, you're just trusting the process day by day with every up and down and people to encourage and be accountable along the way.
Can I jump in there? I've never been married and I haven't been a wife, but if the theory that I'm thinking in my mind is true, is that this is, I would look at it as it, and what Key already said about it being new, right? This is an opportunity, now being in this ripe age and me understanding who I am, knowing what I like, what I don't like, what I tolerate, what I don't tolerate. Now I can actually really get what I really want, right? You know how sometimes like you meet, I'm not sure how long you've been married or whatever have you, but if you were with somebody for a long time and you be like, dang, if I have my choice, then I want to deal with this. This is the time for you to kind of make that list of the things the qualities that you do like and you don't like, your new non-negotiables, the things that will make you happy. Because I know I'm talking to a lot of wives that was divorced and they got remarried. And some of the things that some of them said was like, oh, my husband, he didn't like to travel. So the first thing she looked for in her new husband was somebody who liked to travel. She was like, that was an opportunity to do something that I always loved to do. So it's not a death sentence, right? It's an opportunity. Like, listen, my second chance, my second win to be happy again,
That's
right?
so good.
And look at it in that way with a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh pair, whatever. It's just, I get it. You've been with the person for a long time and understand that, but it's no different than breaking up with somebody and moving on. But it's like you're gonna go to better, and you don't have to deal with what, like, how like you just, I don't want to say settle, but it is what it is, right? This is my husband, this is what we got to do. But I have seen countless women divorce and meet a new guy, and everything that they, I mean, total opposites from their
My
husband.
God.
And
Beautiful.
total, this woman, she her husband sends her on trip with her friends. He's like, oh no, you gotta take vacation with your friends. We'll take vacation together. Take care of her. He goes to church. He's a man of God. Her husband, her ex-husband, never wanted to go to church. They go to church together. They go to things together. They go to concerts. It's like she's like a totally different person.
Yeah.
A totally different. Like her kids was like, she was like, I feel like I'm a young 20-year-old. She acted young. She be like, girl, I'm going to this the gospel concert. I'm like, auntie, calm down. But it was like she got revived. It was a resurrection. So I would look at it in that sense, like it's a chance for me not to be settled in what I lost, but to go after what I really want.
That's good. Go ahead, Sha.
Yeah, so I just I want to kind of boil down dating to take the pressure out of it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, outside of, godly principles and, things like safety things and, making sure if you're out, someone knows where you are and things like that, there really, in my opinion, is no right way to quote unquote date. I just think it's spending time with a person and getting to know them. So I think if we go into a dating pool and say, well, I don't know how to date, it really is no formula to it. It is really just genuinely spending time with somebody and getting to know them. So then I think you can say, am I doing it wrong? You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're having going and spending time with a person, that could be going to hang out at the library. That could be going to eat. That could be going out to, I don't know if they even have fairs anymore, but that could be that. It's really just a matter of spending time with a person and really getting to know them for the purpose to see if this person is someone who you could potentially be serious with or have a life together. So I don't want people to go into this thing thinking that they're doing it wrong or they don't know how to do it, when really it would be the same as you would spend time with friends, well, in a romantic sense. But you don't think, like, if you're going to hang out with your friends, you don't say, well, I don't know how to do that. You get what I'm trying to say? So
Right.
It shouldn't be a pressure-filled situation. When you're ready to get out there, just understand that you're really just spending the time with the person to get to know them. And that's the basis of it. So don't think of it as a right or wrong thing. So I just wanted to add that.
Awesome. That was
What's
good.
your Shaq? We'll let you do. E, you got anything else, or say we can let Shaq do closing remarks?
He could go ahead.
All I was gonna say was that the possibilities of new are beautiful all across the board.
Yes.
No matter where everybody is, the possibilities of new are beautiful all across the board, and the Lord is just concerned about us, just as concerned about us as we are about it.
Yes. Amen.
Man, am I praying out? Are we gonna pray? I feel like I need to pray.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
we did that last week. Amen.
So let's just go. Well, it was an amazing night. This really blessed me. We had laughs, we had wisdom given, we had ministry. I guess I would just leave everybody with just focus on who God's called you to be and really acknowledge him for wisdom.
Yeah.
Acknowledge God and ask for wisdom. Because while we can share things that helped us, everybody's journey is going to look different, and the Holy Ghost is going to have to help you navigate it. So I just want to end with that. And Father, we just thank you for this time of meeting. Thank you for this time of sharing wisdom, Lord, and fellowship. Lord, I pray for every person that will hear this, God. Lord, you know where they are. You know what they stand in need of.
Yes.
You know what they have been through, God. I ask that you would just meet them where they are. Lord, meet every need, meet every emotional need, God. Lord, for those who feel like they lack in confidence, Lord, help them be rooted in identity, Father God. In the name of Jesus, we ask, Lord, that you would heal those that need healing, Father God. We ask that you would restore those, God, who have been running on empty, Father. We thank you, Lord, that as we step into new seasons, God, that you have new things on the horizon for us, Father God. We ask that, Lord, you would mend the broken hearts. We ask, Lord God, that you would just bless every person, bless their families, Lord. And and most of all, God, we ask for your wisdom, God. We ask you in wisdom and in navigating spaces that we haven't navigated before, and we will follow your leading, and we give you glory and honor in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. So you guys meet us next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. We're going to be doing our final summer love show. And then we'll have some more details by then. We'll be on at 7 o'clock. Blessings to you guys. Good for hanging out with us all this time. We bless and honor you, Shaq. We bless and honor you, Justin. That'll hit the end of this replay. Thank you guys so much for just sharing with us. But like I said, this is who we are all the time anyway. So you guys meet us next week. We are going to be talking about what we really just ended, which is the preparation of marriage. The preparation of marriages from a single person perspective. Amen. Love you guys. Have a good night. Peace.